Laugh some more, Fanta. We like that. I'm channeling my Xavier powers. We have a plethora of guests. Is that the word?
I hope you know what a plethora is.
Plethora.
Don't call me out on, especially our 600 show. Okay. Anyway, new icon, new logos to look at, and yeah, we're getting major echo. Sorry.
Good God, man!
I know.
Yeah, I can hear a bit of echo going on somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I see Mr. Mike Barron in the background. That is good. Hey. Oh, hey. How's it going, Mike?
It's going good.
Yeah. Oh,
Hi, Mike.
I guess I'm just gonna hang in chat today.
Hi, Mike.
I was muted just then. If you're still getting echo, that wasn't me. But
No,
that might be on
no.
Oh, you know what? It might be on my end. Just that's me. I was actually doing that. Sorry about that. I had it on YouTube. Oh well, boomer. Let's do this.
T-Wag, hey, what's up, buddy? Kate. All right, everybody's come by today.
Everybody.
Happy 600, everybody.
New icon up here from the cover. So we're making progress. Welcome to the show, Mr. Gary Martin.
Hey, Gary.
Guys, hey, Mike.
Hi, Mr. Martin.
Hey, Gary. Good to see you, sir.
Hello. How's it going?
Gary, what are you?
Good.
I'm sorry, boomer. Here we go. They'll go on camera. There we go. Gary, what are you doing to artists, telling them to set fire to the work and blend the crayon?
Yeah, I didn't think he would do it. He called my bluff.
Yeah, he did. He set his work on fire.
Yeah,
Oh my God!
You can't intimidate Kelsey.
No, Kelsey.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to. Well, till that sun goes down, I'm just gonna have to put my icon up here. But wow, it's good to have you guys on.
Congrats on the 600.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Congrats on adding even more to your book, I guess, right? You're doing Bernie Wrightson pages, Frankenstein pages.
Recently finished the Wrightson recreation.
Okay.
It's absolutely beautiful too, Gary. It's amazing.
Yeah, I believe Shadowhawk backed that just the other day, just for the hat. Wow.
Yeah, I love that.
Yep. That pushed me over the edge. I had to jump on it.
and what's phenomenal about it, Gary, is you do what? All of it with a brush or most of it?
99%.
99% with a brush.
Yeah.
I hear a duck. Does anybody hear a duck?
I can hear something. Very nice, that.
That is very nice. What prompted you to do that, Gary? That particular piece, just the complexity of it.
What prompted me?
Your just love for Wrightson, or
no? Cash money.
Okay.
It was a commission.
That's a good motivator.
Okay.
Commission. Oh wow.
Yeah, there's absolutely no way I would have taken this on without,
I believe you said over 300 hours on that.
The legend.
Get out of here.
The legend is growing. 120.
Oh, okay.
Still a long time.
I take it Mike was shooing his dog.
Let's go with 300.
Not commenting in disbelief.
Let's go with 300, and maybe by the end of the show, that number will get larger.
Okay, well, I had heard 300 hours, but 120 still.
You can do it.
Wow. Mike's, what's been going on with you besides I've been seeing some awesome postings from you. I have one car I want to bring up and ask you what kind of car that is.
I have a few guesses, but I don't know for sure. Well, as you know, I'm busy. Um, I finished the book for the Rippaverse. It's called Gooding, Polymath, and it's all about Cato Gooding, how he grew up and became an inventor. I'm working on a novel with a good friend of mine named Blaine Pardo, which is called Tenure. And it's about what's going on in universities today.
Mhm.
And Florida Man is nearing the finish line. Florida Man versus Hogzilla.
Right.
And my pipeline is jammed.
And you I'm seeing a lot of things related to the Badger as well.
Well, yeah, the Badger people are waiting for new Badger material, and it's written. It's written. But as I said, I crowdfund my own books, and right now the pipeline is filled. Right after Florida Man versus Hogzilla, we're launching Nexus Scourge, which is an original graphic novel that's ready to go to print. It is done. It's completely illustrated by Kelsey Shannon.
Yeah, Kelsey, right?
Yep.
Ooh.
It's the best work of his career, which is saying something. It's just brilliant. And when that's done, we're going to release Nexus Remastered, which is the first 3 black and white issues that have been colored by Kelsey as well.
Yeah.
And then we're going to do Sherlock Holmes meets Captain Nemo, which is done. The art is completely done by Richard Bonk. And it's brilliant. I don't think Bonk ever was asked to do steampunk before, but it turns out that steampunk is exactly what he should be doing. When you see those pages, they're going to blow your mind. I could send you a couple if you want to show them.
Oh, you bet. Yeah.
All right.
Hey, Russ.
Hi there.
Hey, Russ.
On.
Thank you for joining us. I know it's late for you over there in the UK.
Yeah,
well,
I'll say it is.
Time for Coco.
I guess you would, Dave. You're there as well.
I've
What's
already
that,
got my Lucasade there, as
Yeah.
you can see,
Yeah,
That was lovely work,
Critter,
Gary.
What is that?
Lucasade.
Okay, we don't have that over here.
No,
You
I
don't want
believe
it.
not. I believe not.
All they've done is taken the sugar out of it anyway. There's no point.
Well, that's it.
Yeah, it kind of
I
looks
was
like
just saying,
Gatorade.
I came in and that was lovely work, Gary.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Thank
Very
you.
nice. Very nice.
Oh yeah, I love this, Mike. You've shared a couple pages of this before. I love this Captain Nemo stuff. Look at that.
Oh, cool.
Ooh.
There are a couple of other Victorian characters who make guest appearances. I don't want to mention them, but the book just rocks at every page. I'm so glad I had this idea because I've been a Sherlock Holmes fan for my whole life. I was a member of the Baker Street Irregulars in Madison, Wisconsin, and there are probably 50 chapters around the world. They're just Holmes enthusiasts. And he never goes out of fashion. In fact, Sherlock Holmes is probably the most widely known fictional character in history.
Yeah, I actually just got done watching Christopher Lee and play, a couple of with McNee that was on the Avengers.
Yeah.
Did he play Sherlock Holmes?
He played Sherlock Holmes a couple times. The first time Morgan Fairchild was in there, a young Morgan Fairchild.
I saw a couple of his Sherlock Holmes, and Peter Cushing did it better. I hate to say it, but
Peter Cushing, definitely he and I think they did it together.
Yes, Christopher Lee is in The Hound of the Baskervilles.
Yes,
which was Peter Cushing's first Holmes. Christopher Lee plays Henry Baskerville. He's very good at that, and it's a terrific movie because it's a Hammer movie, and they did it as Hammer horror. It's not nearly as grotesque or frightening as some of our modern horror movies, but it'll raise a hackle.
Oh yeah, yeah. What do you guys think about the Hammer? Adding. I mean, there were very few horror movies done in color up to that time. What do you think about the advent of color into all that?
Well, Hound is in color, and I should point out that the first movie I ever saw, which my sister took me to see when I was 6 years old, was The Horror of Dracula, and that was in color. It had quite an impression on me. In
I
fact,
bet it did. Yeah,
I didn't sleep for a month.
Hojo says I'm married to Morgan Fairchild.
Good for you, Hojo.
Yeah, kudos.
Yeah. Well, I like the old 50s TV show that was, where it was located on Baker Street, and they just kind of helped, Scotland Yard out on the different cases. I like the TV show too from the 50s.
I don't know which. You can't watch them all because there's probably 1,000 hours of Sherlock Holmes on film. I've been watching a lot lately. I love the Benedict Cumberbatch version and the Jeremy Brett version. Those guys are my two favorite Holmes.
How about Basil Rathbone?
Yes, yeah, he's up there in the top three.
Yeah, I'm a Basil guy.
Most people say Basil Rathbone.
Yeah.
I kind of like it all. I thought, oh man, this just got the two Christopher Lees on there. But once I watched them, I was like, into it. It was like, oh yeah, this is good. Jimmy Reyes says Blood of Dracula from Apple Comics was amazing.
Hey, Jimmy.
If you like classic horror. I think I had some of those.
I can.
Jimmy, what are you doing watching the stream? You should be working.
Jimmy's going to be doing a wraparound cover for me, Gary. I'm excited about that. I just have
excellent
getting the imagery for that.
Excellent.
I think I'm starting to get a hold on it, but you don't want to waste the talent like Jimmy, right?
Yeah, I'm anxious to see that.
Yeah, now and Russ is going to do me one too. He's
at some point, yeah.
I've just got to, and for his, I want to do like a Crisis on Infinite Earth, with Superman holding the old trope, I guess you could say, of Devil Flyer being held by somebody.
Cool.
No great George Perez cover, of course.
Oh, I know what you mean.
Yeah, well, it's. Yeah. I mean, that goes all the way back before the Pieta, right? from Michelangelo. I mean, a limp body in somebody's arms. I mean, that goes way back, right?
You're thinking of the Pieta.
Pieta. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's been done a few times.
Have you ever traveled and seen the Pieta, Michael?
No, I would love to go to Italy. I have to talk to getting a passport.
How about you, Gary?
I would love to go to Florence. Michelangelo's David would be the first on my list.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I guess I should be asking Texas Dave over there because he's went to Peru recently and everywhere. He's retired and.
I'm making up for lost. I was going to say, Rex, I'm actually making up for lost time over the past few years with the COVID thing going on.
Well, if you can't do it in retirement,
Exactly.
Gary, I am simultaneously watching and drawing.
Yeah.
See, I can't do that. So I tip my hat.
Can't deny nor confirm that either, Jimmy. Russ, how about you? Would you like to go to Italy?
Yeah, I think it's on the list. I haven't been there yet.
Yeah. You got a bucket list?
Like
most of us?
Yeah, I got a bucket list. Yeah.
I guess that movie made that popular, but I guess secretly, whether we articulate it or not, we each have a bucket list of things we'd like to do, right?
Definitely.
Oh yeah.
Gary's he's old enough to have already done everything.
Wow.
Well, that statement is true, but sadly I haven't.
Yeah, well, he's not too far off from where I'm at, so.
No, there's
Mike's
still a
just
few
grinning
things.
because he's like, finally, somebody picked on somebody except me, besides me. Well, I want to thank you guys for coming in here, man. Russ, what have you been up to, man? What are you promoting?
Yeah, I'm just at the end of the inks on an adaptation of The Shadow Kingdom by Robert E. Howard.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So with Conan being quite popular recently, we wanted to stab at something, so we were doing a Cull book, and we're going to be doing some more of that next year. So
who's the writer?
That's Randy Zimmerman. He's doing a faithful adaptation of it before we go off into doing our own version.
Do you have a publisher?
Not at the moment. We're going to go self-published for the moment.
Who's the artist?
Me.
Oh. Geez, Russ, I'm not sure I'm familiar with your art. You're going to have to send me some.
He's like,
here you go.
Likes that Bronze Age sensibility.
I do like a bit of Bronze Age. Here you go. Here's a couple of pages if you want to take a look. So,
love to. Wow. Wow. So. That's just terrific stuff.
Thank you.
Yes, it is.
Wow.
So if I turn it off.
Beautiful.
Now, did you say this was Cull?
Cull the Conqueror, yeah, or King Cull or whatever, yeah. So
wow,
that's a lot of detail.
Yeah.
It's I'm doing everything traditional. So
you are. Okay.
I pencil digitally because I just see it effectively as a light box, really, just to throw stuff around.
Right.
And then
reposition them the way you want it.
Yeah, exactly. And then I print it out to blue line and I do the traditional inks. So
very nice.
Russ Leach, the master Russ Leach there.
Oh, about that.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm doing at the moment.
You've done a couple campaigns. Only Death Can Save Us.
That's right. Book 3 will be out next year. So once I'm finished with this book, I've got a couple of gigs to do for other people. Then I've got the third book of Only Death Can Save Us to do. So sort of late spring, that'll be out.
Well, now both of yours have been on Indiegogo, right?
Yeah, they went on Indiegogo, and you can now get them via Viking Comics over on Amazon and Barnes and Noble, those kind of places. I think they might even have gone to Diamond, but I haven't seen them in the previews yet.
I love that title, Only Death Can Save Us.
Yeah, I wanted something catchy.
Yeah. I think I might steal it, and my next project will be Only a Severe Beating Will Save Us.
That's probably the only thing that's going to save us. Yeah,
or an irate editor, right?
Yeah. So I've got the third book of that, and then, like I say, I'm going to be back into some more Cull stuff.
You think you'll stick with Indiegogo, or have you heard of Fund My Comic?
Yeah, I'm going with Fund My Comic.
Are you?
Simply because I like the fact that it's completely independent.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, both Mike and I are on that.
Yeah, in the work. Yeah. I just find it's going great guns as well. It's really doing well, and they've put a lot of effort in. They've created a fabulous platform, and it's independent. I like that. Yeah. I like the fact that it's not beholden to anyone.
Do you have a trailer?
No, not yet. No, I'm gonna have to. I have to go find someone to do that.
Rex. Sorry, I was just going to say I got my latest book from Glenn.
Oh yeah, Glenn's book is fabulous. Yeah.
Wow, that's impressive.
That's the front cover. That's the back cover.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah.
Oh, you did that yourself.
Yeah, I'm going to say the value of that plummeted.
And he's dedicated it to me as well.
Oh, that's wonderful. He does. Russ, you've been featured in one of his magazines, aren't you? And I last issue I had an article in his quarterly.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, I did an article for him about my work. Did some Batman stuff and what have you.
Yeah.
I think he's also after some Doctor Who stuff as well.
But
soon
you
as well.
were the cover feature on that magazine, weren't you?
I think he did one with me with Only Death Can Save Us. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
On the Comics Unlimited, isn't it?
Yeah, Comics Unlimited. Yeah, and he did. He had his partner interview me about my other work. So
I'm hoping Glenn will get together with me and do one on John Buscema and then also one on Jack Adler.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm sure he'd love to. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I did a short article for him in the previous issue on Mike Noble. I don't know if you've seen it.
Yeah, I haven't seen that issue yet. No, I got the one before, I think. So yeah, but yeah, good. It's always full of cracking stuff.
It is. Well,
it's
I mean,
a great magazine.
I mean, Glenn had been asking me for a couple of years to write an article because I actually met Mike Noble 2 or 3 times over the last few years.
Right.
And he's always been one of my favourite British artists. So I just did an article to the best of my ability, which isn't very good.
Well, he has a cracking, to use one of your expressions, a cracking eye for design.
Oh yeah, Glenn. Yeah, he's been in the business a long time. Yeah, he's done an awful lot of stuff.
He can do a lot more than just Hatch. I mean, his character. He has travel books. He just finished one on soccer. He won one on a trip to Easter Island that he took with photos.
Yeah, he's got that great Kirby book as well, which really
Jack
is
Kirby
wonderful.
book with DVD.
Yeah, that's fantastic. He's actually doing the logos for the Cull work that I'm doing at the moment. And I've done a penciled cover for him, and he's going to paint it. So he's going to be doing the painted covers for us as well.
Well, I went to the premiere of the Jack Kirby DVD a few years back. You know,
in his house.
Where was the premiere? Where was the premiere?
It was in.
You go to.
I think it was in Oldham. I think it was Oldham. Was it? Was it Oldham?
Oldham. Did he actually have it in? Because I don't know this. Did he actually have it in a cinema? Oh, that's brilliant.
No, it was just in like a small theater, like in a library.
That's excellent.
Yeah. So
Gary, you look so ominous there, sitting at your desk.
I bought this book.
That's Rondo Hatton.
I've backed this book, so I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Yeah, it's fabulous work. So I mean, it's a bit intimidating because people say, "Oh, can you show your work? Can you show your work?" And you think like Gary Martin's on the bloody panel.
I know, right?
Well, you know what's fabulous to me is that he does it with the brush. I mean,
just
you have to have such control.
Well, yeah, it takes time to learn it, but it's such a versatile tool. You can get some amazing lines with it. On the downside, it's I'm a little slower than most inkers because I'm tending to get more precise as I get older. I should go the other way, but I'm getting more and more detailed as I'm getting older. I think I'm trying to fight the curse of the old artist that gets kind of loose and sloppy as they get into their golden years, and so that's what I'm fighting against.
Have you seen Pat Broderick's work on Bronze Star?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pat is 70.
70. Wow.
Wow.
When I first started working in comics, assisting Dick Giordano, I got to ink backgrounds on some of Pat's covers that Giordano was inking, and that's how I was introduced to Broderick's work, was inking his backgrounds.
Cool.
I just posted one of his pages in black and white on your Twitter feed.
Okay.
Holy cow!
Hey.
I walked into a panel full of superstars. What the hell?
Hey, Doc.
Panel full of geezers, except for Fanta.
Yeah. With Mike blazing the way.
Yeah, we'll try to behave ourselves.
You don't have to.
How's everybody doing? How y'all are?
Fine.
Good.
I'm great.
Yeah. By the way,
this-
Rex, I've got
this is
another
Pat.
book for you.
Roderick, correct?
Oh,
Pat
That's
Roderick.
Pat Broderick.
Cool.
Now,
Yeah.
I guess he did the inks on this as well, right?
Yes, he did.
Mm-hmm.
The greatest work of his career. I thought I had one of the black and white books down here. That's why we did an oversized black and white artist edition.
that's amazing.
You can
And those are lovely.
Is that out of
Those-
Bronze Star?
Out of
Yes.
I've
Bronze
got a
Star, yes.
paintbrush already ready here. Got a paintbrush.
And you're working on Bronze Star 2, one of the
That's
things
right.
you're working on, right?
Yeah, and Pat's
Mhm.
already well into it.
Is that also going to be on Fund My Comic?
Absolutely. Every book that we crowdfund is going to be on Fund My Comic. We use other platforms as well, but we will always be on Fund My Comic.
That's
stuff.
awesome.
Yeah, me as well. So yeah, you guys in the chat, if you want to check this stuff out, Fund My Comic, baby.
That's it.
Yep.
Russ, what do you think about? I noticed you made a comment about Mary Boys, one of the crowdfunded books. Mary Boys.
Yeah, I bought it. I bought both of them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love that stuff. That's it's I mean I think Chubb is South African, but
Is he?
Yeah, but it
Okay.
comes over as so British. I mean, it's very sort of 2000 AD, sort of maybe cut with Mad magazine. It's brilliant stuff. Wonderful artwork.
Okay, all right.
What do you like most about that type of stuff? Just the levity of it, the tongue in cheek, the off the chain graphics, or what?
Yeah, I mean, from a story perspective, it's a
Fun read.
yeah, I wouldn't say it's a fine read. I would say it's very funny though.
Yeah, well, I said fun read. Yeah,
oh, fun. Sorry, fine wouldn't be the word I'd call it. It's it's fun. Yeah. But from the art perspective, I just think it's sort of out there. It's a bit left field. It's really nice stuff, and it's unique, which is what you look for. Yeah, I mean, it's like looking at Gary's stuff, the way that he presents, the way that he approaches his work, or just looking at that work from Pat there. You can pick those artists out.
Yeah.
You can look at them and go, that's it, which is what I'm trying to do, because I'm inspired by some fabulous artists, and you see them as your benchmark, but at the same time they must be inspirational, not instructional, as it were. They should be forming the way that you approach your work. So it's wonderful when people can see other artists in your work, but I wouldn't want to look exactly like someone else, because I see these people and they're just unique, and you can just, off the bat, you can see who did what. So that would be something I'd aim for. And certainly the Mary Boys stuff, it's unique. Just I don't think there's anything else that looks like it.
Feel better, Eagle.
And I can spot Gary's work from across a concert hall.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, see, that always surprises me, because I don't see my own style. And like, even when I'm doing a recreation, somebody will tell me, oh, I see some Gary Martin isms in there, and I don't know what they're talking about, but I know they're there.
Yeah.
There's some stuff that I do all the time, and people identify those kinds of,
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the way it is, because people have said that to me and say, oh, I'd recognize your work. And I'm like, why?
Exactly.
I think it's quite bland. I think, I do my best. I do what I do, but I think it's quite, it's not as exciting as I'll pick someone out of the ether and go, like Arthur Adams, okay, or Jim Lee, and it's like you nail them, Buscema, whoever, old guard, new guard, whatever. You just look at them and you go, what? Yeah. And then
I think for me, I never
go,
tried
really?
to do a style. That might be the same for you, where you're not trying to do a style. You're just trying to do something, decent.
But I think what the idea is, that what happens is that comes out. You come out in your work, and that's what makes it unique.
Sure. It's like we all learn to write the same way, but your signature becomes very distinct over time.
Yeah.
So same thing with your art, it just happens. It's not something that sets out to do. Because
if you pull up Florida Man, sorry to interrupt you. Could you pull up pull up Florida Man again. There was an
Absolutely.
interesting
Oh, it
image
didn't
of
go
a
very
young.
far.
There was an interesting image of a young lady in the library. I'd like to look at that again.
Okay. You sure it was the library or the laboratory?
Oh, well, she was reading.
The reading room.
It says, I have a bathroom book.
It began with an L.
It's Matthew Weldon is the artist.
Oh, he's good.
Yeah, again,
Urge.
a real unique feel to what he's doing there.
Mm-hmm.
It's lovely.
Very lively.
Good colorist too. Who's your colorist on this?
I think it was Kelsey Shannon, but I could be wrong. There's Crystal. She's in the bathroom. They have a
Okay.
recurring problem with a toilet snake
Look at that plunger.
that figures prominently in the story.
This looks like
What are
so
you
much
talking about?
fun.
It?
Look at the touch. She's wearing his flip flops.
I just noticed the plunger is a shotgun.
Yeah,
Yeah, the plunger's a shotgun. It's dripping behind it.
I just all those little touches.
Mhm. I'm not
Rex,
sure
would
what
you
that
play,
is on
would you
the
play the
on the-
video?
play the video? Absolutely. Yeah. That's why I was kind of filtering through here.
Thank you, sir.
Absolutely.
Only on Rex's choppy ass
Video
theater.
gives some context to these images.
That's true.
I love that intro.
There is a creature in the swamps who has survived thousands of years of evolution. It lives to destroy. A mindless, eating machine. The beast they call Hogzilla.
After his latest get-rich scheme goes sideways, Gary Duba, the quintessential Florida man, ends up with a stash of somebody's high-end memorabilia. His gal Crystal is on probation and preparing for the fight of her life, squaring off against Australia's Queen of Combat. Delilah's got her back in training, staying off rich foods and the nose candy. Meanwhile, Gary and his best friend Floyd have been hired to wrangle a massive, abnormally aggressive feral hog that's terrorizing the swamp and wrecking Gary's old neighborhood. Can they bag the elusive monster swine without destroying the Sunshine State? Reserve your copy of Florida Man vs. Hogzilla, available on Fund My Comic. We're bringing back funny books, y'all.
Brilliant.
Thanks.
Laying off that booger sugar.
How fun is that? That's what a comic book should be.
I
Yeah.
guarantee you will laugh out loud.
So, Fanta, what are you up to?
Oh, I'm just working on some more promotional videos for comic creators and stuff. Just doing that and
Voodoo
Music.
dolls, shrunken heads.
Is that what you specialize in?
do not. I don't
Anything you could
specialize
show
in
us?
anything. I don't think.
Well, she
I'm
promotes all your wonderful projects and makes videos and puts them up there, whether she knows people personally or not. You know, she's
Have you got something you can show us?
great promoter and does it all on her phone. I'm amazed at what she can do on her phone.
Hey, Carrie.
Oh,
I don't
and
know. Rex could, I guess, if he wanted to. I'm on my
Okay.
phone. I don't. That's the thing. I don't have a new laptop yet or anything, so everything I do is on my phone. Like the videos I've made for you, Mr. Barron, and you, Mr. Martin,
Mhm.
and Rex and others.
I
It's all
had
on my
no
phone with
idea.
screenshots and screen recordings.
Oh, I guarantee you, she's probably done every one of us on the panel here. Maybe
Yeah.
not Russ. Have you done
No.
one for Russ?
No,
I don't think so.
Only death could save us, or
no,
maybe something.
but the Shadow Kingdom's going to need something. So
Thank you, Edwin.
Well, as soon as I always go through, like, I do Indiegogo projects and others, but I'll go to Fund My Comic specifically and scroll through and find ones I haven't done or ones I have but need more attention, or somebody that's launched and not getting a lot of traffic, so I'll try to get that out there. I mean, I don't get thousands of views or anything, but I figure if one or two people see it and maybe they'll back it,
Every little bit helps.
That's really good of you. That's really good. What a great thing.
I'm just excited. I came into this a newbie because I mean, of course, I knew the main comic book characters, Spider-Man, Batman, you know, all those, but I never bought a comic. My first comic I purchased was a CG comic.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I'm learning so much. Just listening to you guys talk, I'm learning so much, and such great artists that blow the mainstream away. Yes, I backed Tugs, Hunt the Littlest Umbrella, the third book in his series.
And then you backed mine, and you got Ash Can in, I think.
Yours was the first I've received. Yes. Since then, I've backed.
Who are you on Twitter?
Okay, I just sent that to you, Mike.
Oh, thank you.
I believe I did.
But yeah, I just want to try to help support and get eyes on projects, and it's fun.
Yeah. Well, the whole indie comic scene is fun.
Yeah,
there's just so much. There's so much energy out there at the moment.
I'll try you and get her
truly
her
independent
YouTube channel for you as well, if you want.
Not just
please.
Not just. I mean, we're not talking about like Dark Horse and Image and those kind of things. We're talking about real independent comics,
right?
Like you know, proper. What really independent is, and that's where all the energy is at the moment. It's where all the creativity is. There's just so much out there. You can't buy them all because there's just too many.
Yeah, and you guys just blow any mainstream stuff away. I'm amazed all the time when I look at a campaign. I'm like, oh my gosh, you know.
I think
the details, the storytelling. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. I was sorry to butt in. I didn't mean to. I think what's happening is there's a lot of passion for it. There's still some good stuff in the mainstream. It's just very small amounts, and the what mainstream is missing is passion.
Yeah.
And that's what's coming out because people aren't making huge amounts of money out of this. They're doing it because they love it.
Well, I think the people that really leave their mark on comics, on sequential art, Russ, are those that were fans as kids. Like, and I use John Byrne as an example. His first comic was Fantastic Four #5, the first appearance of Dr. Doom, and you could tell he was just an avid comic reader and started out almost from the beginning at Charlton, but he did some prior work to that. But you might as well say Charlton, and eased his way, you know, from there to Marvel, I guess. But you can tell he's a fan. You can tell George Perez is a fan. You know, I mean, all these.
You can pick out the more recent books. So I think, for instance, Dave over at Genuine Comics, and
a lot like Dan Jurgens and other. You know, fan-based writers or artists.
Perfect.
They have a narrative. They you know, they have an ideal in mind. Usually, like we all have. You know, we've got a passion project that we've had in mind for years, right? That like Todd McFarlane had Spawn. Eric Larson had, you know, all those Image guys. They had this one character at least, you know, or this team that they always wanted to do, and they, you know, worked themselves up through the ranks and eventually did it.
I mean, with Only Death Can Save Us, I wanted to do something that was sort of Stalin-esque, sort of cosmic. Also because of the Fantastic Four and the stuff that I read as a kid. That was what I wanted to do. But from my really, all I wanted to do was draw pages.
I and Doc are working on a story like that now, because those Jim Starlin stories were so. Like you said, they expanded. I think Jim Starlin did just about as much, you know, in the Bronze Age and even in the 80s for Marvel Comics as Jack Kirby. And that's really saying a lot, because he really expounded upon and took to the next level.
Definitely. Yeah.
Let me show you what Doc did for me.
Brilliant. Great cover.
Great work, Rex.
All I did was hum along with it. I mean, that's
Well, now
it's got a nice beat. You can dance to it.
We were working on logos earlier today. Thank you, Doc, for putting in so much, on redesigning logo emblems. Here's a few that we started with for momentum.
I was going to say, Rex, somebody will have to come up with a logo for me because I haven't got a clue. I had to improvise with my logo.
Your logo would just be a picture of Maya.
It's a picture of me, actually.
No, you need a picture of Maya, Dave.
You as a boy, perhaps.
Do you think?
Oh, are you in Peru there?
Yeah. I was in Peru there. Yeah, leaning on a signpost.
Well, now you just got back from Australia, didn't you?
I did, yeah, a couple of months ago now.
What's your next foray going to be? Where are you going next?
The Rocky Mountains.
He's a globe-trotting man.
Stop by and say hello. I'm in Fort Collins.
I'm going to be doing the Rocky Mountaineer and Niagara Falls, I believe, and Toronto. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, wow. You are going to be jet set.
Mike Barron said, Dave, swing by. So you get over there and bring a couple of Mike Barron books, get them autographed.
Well, I don't know if I'll be in that particular area because I'm on a sort of guided tour kind of holiday. So
guided tour.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? We're right on the Front Range.
Are you? Right.
Yeah, I can see Long's Peak from my house.
Right.
Oh, wow.
Like you say, I'm not 100% sure just where I'm going yet. I've not studied the itinerary, so I'm still.
I can see a tree from my house, Mike.
I can't see none.
Are you telling me your guided tour doesn't include a stop by Mike Barron's house?
Right? What kind of tour is that?
I would love to give you a guided tour of the city.
Yeah.
It'd be worth it just to go see Mike's dogs. He's got some wonderful dogs. Welcome to the show, Mr. Preston.
What's up?
Acevedo. How are you?
What's up, Preston?
Hey, Preston.
Hi, Preston. Nice to meet you.
Hi.
So we're doing projects today? Is that
Yeah.
what's going on? Sweet.
I see. I was going to wear my Kiss
Now
t-shirt.
that's a studio.
You got to have your distractions if you're going to do this for a living.
You look like you know what you're doing.
Yeah. Well, I got something to show you.
Oh, sweet. Yeah. Unfortunately, we never finished that crossover.
And the sketch card and sort of the decoder card there, I guess, right?
Yeah, I think on a second chance campaign, when I put out issue 2, I got to get an editor.
This is one of the first crossovers, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, but we never finished it. Like the plan was like I would start it in my book, and then everybody else would finish it in their books, right? Well, apparently, they didn't. So
kind of fell through. Yeah. But that's
What's up, Mike?
That's one
How
of the
you doing?
first. I used to write down when I received it. I received that. Oh gosh, the 22nd will be like 3 years.
Yeah, it's been a little bit
with Preston. I've been telling you that for years.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Like I'm totally down for. I'm a fan of Mike's, his Badger series, Nexus, all that kind of stuff.
Doc, check out his shirt.
Amazing writer.
Yeah, I just said I had my Kiss t-shirt in my hand.
Yeah,
I love Kiss. Like I got to see him live with in full makeup with the original members.
Yeah,
and it was when they did their reunion tour. You know, and,
I guess they just gave their
last back in the old days.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think that was 1999 or something like that. 2000.
I know, man. It doesn't seem like it was that long ago. But
I know, right? Like it's been 23 years.
Almost a quarter of a century ago.
Well, straight out of high school, I guess it was around 84, maybe. It was probably 85. When they were doing their Animalized it, I saw them like into concerts, one on one night, and then went and saw him. I saw him in Little Rock, and then I went over to Memphis and saw him the next night. So, and actually got backstage for a brief little bit on the first concert.
Holy shit, that's amazing! Like,
yeah, they were just eating sandwiches. They had a table here. It was in a hot basketball gym. It was not very good at all.
I got to see him for their Psycho Circus tour, and it just so happened that Todd McFarlane was putting out the Psycho Circus comics too. At the time.
Yeah. I actually bought a few of those.
Yeah. I thought they were amazing. They had Angel Medina working on it. Yeah. And Angel was one of my favorite artists at the time.
Well, Gene Simmons was reported to have, that's part of every contract ever since their first thing with Marvel was to keep all the original artwork. He's got a virtual Kiss store. That's what he collects. And if there's an item, there's very few licensed items that he doesn't have in his collection. He's a mega collector. He's probably got
of his own stuff.
Of his own stuff, right?
Yeah, I know, right?
Well, that was the same thing with the actor that played Chekhov on Star Trek. He would collect everything Chekhov, nothing else. Now he collected the Big Little books, and he had pinbacks. He had a huge collection of those. He had like Joe Palooka, the first 50 issues of Joe Palooka.
Oh, wow.
So, he liked what he liked, certain things. Would really go after
Gene Simmons, like, he's cheap to the point that he destroys himself.
Last time I had Gary on, we were talking about Terry Austin. He's a big Popeye collector. Everything Popeye.
A big what, Rex?
Popeye.
Yeah, what's pie?
Yeah.
Chicken or beef?
That sounds good. I want some of that.
Yeah, right? You can take Rex nowhere.
Pie squared.
That's true. Yeah, if you want diction.
He opens his mouth and country just falls out.
I think that's Pops, isn't it?
Pops. Yeah, it's Pops.
Yeah.
What's up, buddy? A lot of cool people hanging out in the chat. You should say hi to them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we have Chad Hawk, my co-host. We have Carrie. We have
got a full house.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Levi Scheme, Windblock in the house.
Thank you, everyone. Oh, there's Dave. He's up on the panel.
Timothy Holston.
Yeah, I'm in two places at the same time here.
Timothy Holston.
Wow, I don't know how you guys do it. T Bunny. We have
Eric Boyd is here.
Mm-hmm.
TJ is here. Good to see you.
TJ.
This is good stuff. Hojo.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez, man.
TJ's in the UK. We have several people from around the world.
Hey,
we have
Pops.
a very international crowd around here. Edwin, thank you for liking this over on Twitter. Appreciate that, as you usually do.
Jimmy Ray.
His Bloodbone, I was going to say his Bloodbone just got funded. Bloodbone Ascan.
That looks really
cool.
Badass
looking book.
Yes.
And I want to say happy birthday to Jay Kreger. Today, Jay couldn't join us because it's his birthday.
Happy birthday, Jay.
And he had a comic called Hammer that he just delivered and fulfilled.
I'm waiting to get that in.
And he's a sculptor too. Oh my gosh, he's very talented. He's a master portrait artist. If you've not seen his like Bride of Frankenstein or just any of his portrait work, it's just off the chain. It's Gary
cool
Martin stuff.
Cool stuff.
Almost.
One of my dreams is to
Jimmy Reyes, of course.
Have all my favorite artists do me a portrait of Chris Cornell.
Yeah,
Chris Cornell was amazing.
Yeah, yours is
shame how he died. Did he
Chris
really
Cornell
kill himself?
And Shadowhawk is like, do me a salamandroid.
Yeah, because that sounds like a flimsy.
Oh yeah, we could talk about that for hours.
I met him here in Atlanta when he was recording, and didn't know who he was. I was sitting in the lounge at a recording studio with the band I was in, and Dio was there. I didn't know, but that's why they weren't letting us in the back, And I sat out there and chatted with him for the better part of an hour before I realized he was somebody.
Oh wow!
Super nice guy. Super nice.
Oh yes, beautiful human. Yeah.
Hell of a songwriter too. Like that
Oh yeah,
first
poet.
Soundgarden album killed. Like it was the greatest thing.
He is
ever.
everything.
Oh, Fanta.
Thank you,
He
Nikki.
was. Made me want to cry. Talk about who's in the chat now.
Are you gushing?
No, I want to cry.
Carrie says, Doc, you need Preston on your coffee shop for the ladies' pleasure. Oh, and Preston's always welcome on the show. But damn, you mean I'm not enough eye candy? What the hell?
I'm looking for the Russ. Russ is one of my favorite artists. Him and his Only Death Can Save Us. But he did a Doc Salem death piece for me, and I can't find it. So
Yeah, Russ is badass.
Show that off.
Only Death Can Save Us.
That's
awesome.
high praise coming from you.
Russ is one of our secret weapons in our arsenal that, you know, especially in the American crowd. I don't know where you've been hiding him. Maybe Liverpool somewhere in the basement.
Russ is keeping Kirby and Buscema alive.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. I love it. I mean, there's a lot of people doing the
That's
90s sort of
high
image
praise.
style, you know,
Yeah.
and nothing wrong with that. But I really like that Russ has got that Bronze Age sensibility. I
Right.
guess some of the 80s as well, right, Russ?
Yeah, it's around that time. That's the formative years. That's the way.
Yeah,
it
see, to
works,
me,
isn't it?
I see the Silver Age style. I mean, the heyday, the Perez, John Byrne,
Oh,
in there.
you've got a high watermark there. But yeah, these people they've all made an impression on me. But I mean, it's like that for all
That's
artists,
not
isn't it?
Silver
They have
Age
so
style,
many.
just saying.
They have so many inspirations. So, but yeah,
Yes, indeed.
those guys. My
Well, you drew
first
from
comic was that I bought myself was Captain Britain Weekly, and
Oh,
that
yeah.
I
had
used to get that.
that had reprints of Buscema, Sinnott, Fantastic Four,
Four. And,
and
yeah.
Steranko on Nick Fury as well.
I did not know this,
So-
Russ,
Oh, yeah,
but
yeah,
I had
yeah.
seen something on it recently in the last 6 months where they used to, for the ballast of ships, they would take bundles of magazines and
Oh
comics.
yeah. Yeah.
And that's where you got a lot of your books
American
were
stuff,
from,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
They would put them
So-
in the bottom of the ships for
Yeah.
ballast, ship them over there, and then take them out. And
That was my
Yeah.
job in the Navy, Rex. I was ballast.
The trouble was though, some of those comics got water damaged because of that.
Yeah, I was going to say,
Yeah, a little bit.
not going to get mint copies from the bottom
No.
of a ship.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
yeah,
Gentlemen, you'll have to excuse me. I gotta go.
Oh,
Well, bye,
okay.
Mr.
Mike,
Barron.
take care.
Bye.
Thank you for having me.
Great
Well,
to see
thank
you.
your
Yeah.
lovely wife for thanks for coming on, and thank your
It was
lovely
my
wife for
pleasure,
your,
sir, as
Merry
always.
Christmas, by
for
the
your
way.
time.
Thank
Merry
you, guys.
Christmas,
Merry
absolutely.
Christmas, Mike.
See you, Mike.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Good seeing you.
He's so awesome.
Yeah, Mike's a
It
good
is.
guy.
What a hell of a nice guy.
Yeah.
Preston, we
Does it-
missed you Sunday. We missed
Yeah,
you.
weekends are tough. Like my wife's
Yeah,
a
but
teacher.
you're the
so
one
she
that
works
set it
during the
up.
week.
You said, "How about Sunday?"
Yeah, no, I did. But 4:00's a weird time for me. Because,
It is. Yeah.
I got.
I take
Hold
the
on a
Rush,
second. Let me
take
get
the Rush Limbaugh approach. You know, if you can do the worst time and make a success out of it, then I should be able to skip to any time and be a success.
No, it's a good time for everybody else. You know?
Oh, it's a good time
I,
for everybody else. No, you'd be surprised.
But on the weekends I got my wife's honeydew list I got to get done with.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't want you to get you in trouble with the.
Oh, no, I'm gonna be in trouble anyway. It's no big deal.
Yeah. Yeah, you need to show some of that awesome artwork. I know you have around there somewhere.
I was trying to dig a little bit. I'm trying to get Christmas presents together. Yeah, I'll pull some out and I'll show you some stuff from the Non-Devils book I'm going to be working on and I'm
right.
working on at the moment.
You can see something here of his. You
Okay.
put me up. So first off, it's the pencil that I did, and then
That's it right there.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did that for you. That was great fun.
That looks
And
amazing.
then he also
yeah.
He also did a fantastic pin up for me as well,
Oh wow.
which
Beautiful.
is absolutely.
Oh, I
gorgeous.
remember that. Oh,
Yeah.
Russ, you just
That was
tease us.
funny.
You tease. You
What a
had that up for
fantastic
about
piece.
2 seconds.
What a fantastic piece that is. That's just
It's beautiful stuff.
absolutely glorious. Everybody loved it. Everybody absolutely loved it. Thank you. There you go. That was the pencils.
But did it sell books?
Yeah, I think it did sell books. Yeah, I think people wanted some. There you go.
Jimmy Reyes in the chat. What's up, buddy?
Do you color your own work, Russ? Or do you have a colorist that does that?
The stuff I did for Only Death, I colored myself. Yeah, because I just wanted a flat sort of retro feel. I'm no colorist. I'm no full-on colorist myself.
No,
so
I
just
like
wanted that very simple retro flat colors, just a shade, almost cell shaded, with a few effects, and that was it. I wanted to keep the book really, really simple.
Well, one thing I liked about like that pool of artists that you draw from is that they let the inks do most of the work. You know what I'm saying? And the colors, they could get away with flat colors because of that. You know?
Yeah, it's great. That's the work that I love. So
yeah,
like I say, the stuff that I'm doing at the moment is a bit more detailed than that, but I'm going for a black and white book next. So
oh really?
It doesn't matter.
Okay,
Yeah. I'm going to be brave.
Now, Fanta,
I think
I kind of like black and white myself.
Oh, me too.
I do, but not everybody does. It's a harder sell, isn't it? So
yeah, my art book is all black and white.
If it's done right, I think it can easily, appeal to the masses.
Now, Fanta, you've been co-hosting with Dojo Coon Comics, haven't you?
Yeah, he months ago he invited me on to be one of the co-hosts, so I'm on there on Wednesday nights normally at 10 Eastern, 9 Central. We're off until after the first of the year, but yeah, we just have Incendiary. It's a fun debate show, and he has guests on, and we feature their campaign at the end of the show. So he picks different topics, and we debate them.
And
have a
you're
lot of
on with
fun.
the good stuff. There's Glenn. Hey, Glenn.
Hi, Glenn.
Glenn
Yes,
Fleming.
I'm on with
Great
the
to
good
see you,
stuff.
sir.
And Mr. Good Stuff and Justin Belmont on the Man Cave on Thursdays at 6 Eastern, 5 Central, which is an awesome time. I'm on with Just Call Me Hen Monday, Wednesday, and Friday afternoons. Been on there with her for, I think, over 2 years now. Every week, 3 days a week with the Hen and TJ that was in the chat. And we have a fun time over there. Here in just a few minutes, I'm on with Feline as well for her happy hour hangout. So I was going to split my day.
That's already started. So thanks for coming over here first.
Well, yeah, of course. Got to celebrate your 600th episode. I'm your official nighttime co-host.
That's right. Well, you tell all that crew. I've been trying to get Luke over here. He's got a new project along with Morph. I think that's
Morb. Yeah.
Morb. Yeah.
Mercenary Guild. Yeah, it's in sign up stage right now, but it's looking really good. Luke he's a good artist.
He just keeps leveling up,
Yes, and he's an awesome dude. So
yeah, he is.
But I wanted to be here with you for the first hour at least. Thank you for having me on and let me listen and learn.
Absolutely.
Congratulations. And here's to 600 more episodes. Love you guys. Love you, Rex.
Love you.
Peace out, Fanta.
Tell everybody we said hi over there.
I certainly will.
Shadowhawk says Fanta saves the show when I can't herd on Rex. Ride herd on Rex. Hey, Whimsy Land. The amazing Fanta.
Okay, now, the female's gone. We can spit and swear now.
Yep. Everybody scratch.
Yes. Everybody
Spread
scratch.
and scratch.
Man, I've been holding that in.
I was going to say we still have a female here. Here.
Okay.
She won't mind.
Nah.
She does it too.
Oh, there she goes.
I should have dug out some of my production artwork because I don't think Gary's seen it. I don't know. Did I ever show you, Gary? Well, I showed. I have like the one and only color guide to Avengers #4. I'm gonna have to show that to you sometime. But this is what I've been working on lately. I need to finish it up.
Oh, that's cool.
Nice one.
Wow.
And work on that arm there and make it a little smaller. But and my potato cam doesn't help any. But
What book is this for?
You're not messing around.
I'm trying, Glenn or Gary.
What book is that for?
Now I feel intimidated to hold up any of my stuff.
Well, this particular story here, I don't know yet. Just working with that character. Actually got like 4 different books going. So
wow, you sound like me.
Well, I had to develop. I have to kind of know. I take the J. Michael Straczynski sort of look when he was working on Babylon 5. He said, "I wrote 1,000,000 years in the past, 1,000,000 years in the future, so I know where I've been and I know where I'm going with the story."
Oh, that's pretty smart. Yeah.
Yeah. And my plans are to, after this prequel magazine comes out, I have a character book I want to do because I have a lot of characters. But then a lot of that might be alleviated in this story that I'm working, which is kind of dealing with the bystander, which is a sort of a cosmic watcher type character. And trying to build a universe of characters, and then with Devil Flyer #1, when it comes out, then there'll be 6 stories. Issue 2 will have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 till we get to the climax in issue 6. So it'll all kind of be rolled into one story. Huh?
That's way too organized. I don't even know what I'm going to have for lunch.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I've been sitting on the first Devil Flyer story, which will be launching on Red Valkyrie's channel February 3rd. And that's the one I played the trailer to. And I just felt like in the crowdfunding, seeing that 29-page story wasn't enough. So I started writing these self-contained, but, short stories for the back of it to expand on it. And it kind of grew and grew and grew from there. So
cool. Glenn in the chat, I get that a lot.
All right, so
get off related to Clint Eastwood.
Get off my lawn,
I think I said something about that, or I at least thought it first time we had Gary on. I was like,
no, you mentioned it.
I have an uncle, or had an uncle. Sadly, he passed away not yesterday, last year. He favored Clint Eastwood as well.
Oh, well, yeah, but you say you got a sister that looks like Linda Carter.
No, a cousin that looks like Linda.
And we keep saying you either got to show the receipts or
that's hard.
It's got to be.
It could be worse people to look like Gary.
Cut to the quick.
Cut to the quick.
It's got to be hard to keep it out of the family.
Now, Gary, are you going to be adding to your project? You just added that Frankenstein piece. Can we take another look at that? You said that was for a commission.
Yeah, that's the 3rd to the last piece of artwork. I'm working on the last piece. Let me hold it up again.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, 3rd to the last was this recreation.
Wow.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
Almighty.
Look at that.
It's like 18 by 30, so it's big.
And 99% of that's done with a brush, folks.
Yeah, these like real long lines for like this contour of this test tube. I ruled that.
Did you learn anything from this?
Oh, tons.
Don't do it again.
Yeah. Right. Did Bernie actually use a brush when he used
a
to
lot
do
of
his
it is a lot of it is a brush, but he was a lot of it's Croquill. And then Bernie Wrightson, there's a lot of talk about his artwork kind of sliding after he finished the Frankenstein stuff, but they call it the Frankenstein curse.
Mm-hmm.
So people had mentioned that to me. So the piece I did right after that was this Metropolis piece.
Oh,
gorgeous.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. This is all brush.
Are you was it just the stunning visuals of this, or was it that it's so iconic, French Lang's 1926.
It's something that I've been
Whatelse.
wanting to do for a long time. Metal textures fascinate me.
Are you well, yeah, I think you said that before. Are you a silent film sort of, I don't know, buff or fan in any way?
Somewhat. There's, some of the iconic films. I like a lot of the comedies, Buster Keaton and, Chaplin.
Charlie Chaplin, maybe?
Yeah. But Metropolis was way ahead of its time.
I'm always
a lot of ways.
It was the Star Wars of its day, wasn't it?
I don't know about that.
I'm always using pics from that movie as reference.
I don't even know. Scenes. I don't know how I like the Michelle Nichols piece back there too.
Yeah, thank you.
That's going to be featured in the book.
Yes, that'll also be in the book.
How to feel inadequate about your inking? Come onto a panel with Gary Martin.
Right, exactly.
Jimmy Reyes says, Gary, you should have held up a stick figure as a gag for the Frankenstein curse.
I didn't draw this, by the way.
Oh, okay.
I just thought I'd show it you.
Oh yeah,
still nice.
Look how that's amazing. That is.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I don't think they should have got Kelly Jones to finish that book off, though. I think they should have got Tim Vigil to take up where.
I actually got brave and asked him to come on today, so who knows? Maybe Kelly will join us.
Because Tim's style matches up better than Kelly Jones's for Bernie's.
Yeah, I'll tell you another one that I think could, because Ron Friends really can look like Ditko. He can look at Kirby and different styles that, on projects. I think for Bernie Wrightson, Aaron Lopresti.
Oh, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does a mean Wrightson. Yeah, he does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, his compositions are spot on.
Yeah, there's no larger, bigger Wrightson fan than Lopresti.
Mm-hmm. True that.
Have you seen Gary? Have you seen Tim Vigil's work? Have you ever seen any of his stuff? Especially
I haven't seen any of his stuff in the last decade.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what he's doing now.
Yeah,
tons of commissions.
Yeah.
I chatted with him a little bit. I think I used to have an account on Deviant. I don't anymore. It may or may not have been DeviantArt, but we chatted a little bit on that.
Mm-hmm. If you could change anything about comics right now, what would it be, Gary?
I only get one thing.
Well, I'll give you 3 wishes.
I think the main thing would be to put creators as editors of the large companies, that creators that respected the source material, like in the old days. The Len Wein, Marv Wolfman, Ernie Colon days. Those guys were writers and artists, and they respected the material.
Mm-hmm.
That's missing today. I think you get people that really care about the legacy of the characters and the artists and the work that's been done.
Yes.
That the giants that, the shoulders that we stand on respected that history, then comics would change overnight.
Yeah.
Yes.
And realize that it's kind of like a sacred trust, and that you pass the torch on to the next generation at some point, right?
Exactly.
Hopefully.
Amen, brother.
Oh, what have we got here?
Yeah, what are we looking at?
I think they should clean house. Fire everybody.
That's
page 1 to Non-Devil story I'm working on. I've decided to go back to one of my IPs and work on that in between getting pages done.
So are we looking at the camera pulling back?
Yeah. You're pulling back from an eyeball on you know, with all these bugs and stuff, like just burrowing into it. You know?
I was gonna say this.
I'm not a huge Todd McFarlane fan, but he is right. Like when he says, like, you should make it as gory as possible, you know, and don't try to be the best tree drawer. And then here's the page 2 and 3.
Are these? I mean, are these ink? Are they inked or is this pencil?
No, this is all pencil. I don't ink anymore. I just let the colors
go
ahead and do what he's got to do. I don't mind seeing like sketch lines in the work.
I don't either.
You know?
Yeah, I like sketch lines.
Yeah, that doesn't. Really
I don't think there's enough of that going on. You know, as long as it's dark enough to reproduce.
Yeah, like
of course that might put Gary out of a job.
Well, I was going to say, you know, you don't see that often, but this is, you know, I'm cutting my own throat here, but this really, it doesn't need to be inked to go from, you know, these type pencils directly to color. I don't think you would gain that much by having these inked.
Like I started noticing Dale Keown, like back in the day when he was doing Pitt, he would put himself down as the inker. But when you looked at the work, you'd see like pencil shading instead of like ink.
Well, yeah, he would use his pencils to drop in tones and stuff. It was ink, but he was doing both.
And here's page 4.
Wow.
No, this is terrific.
What I've been trying to do is like every time I finish 5 pages for somebody else's book, I go and do a page for Devils. And so it's kind of difficult to make progress. So
yeah.
But,
so this stuff, it's very detailed, but it reads very clearly, and that's key for storytelling.
Yeah. Even on through my internet, it rings.
But yeah, it's a blast to get back to this. Like back to the
beautiful work, brother.
Beautiful. Oh, thanks.
Yeah, great stuff.
Sketch lines. I've got this as well.
Oh, let's see.
Oh, sweet.
Sketchbook.
Now, did that come with the hardback from Glenn?
Yeah, it did. I ordered it at the same time. So that's
okay.
I don't know if you can see this very well. Hang on.
I can see the autograph. Yeah.
I'll put it the right way around. Just got to get the light.
A lot of glare.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, that looks cool.
Oh, hatch upside down.
Hang on.
Yeah. Pick a random page and show us some work there in that.
Yeah, there you go.
Pick a random page out of that and show
I will.
us.
There you go. A random page. Just got to get the glare.
Yeah, a lot of glare. Yeah, and
There
that's really. Is that
awesome.
Is that inked? Is that inked or is that
No, it's
like pencil? Pencil.
It's all pencil, I think. It's all sketch.
Okay.
Sketchbook.
Yeah, sketchbook. Yeah.
Okay.
Glenn does lovely watercolors and
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Was that full color in the hardback that you had, Dave?
Yeah. There's some. I think it's color and black and white.
Okay.
Is that
one? Jimmy Reyes says, Preston, your talent angers me. Nice work, buddy.
Jimmy's amazing.
That's hand painted.
Great inker.
Beautiful.
Hand painted, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's nice. I like that. Is that watercolor or is it?
It's ink.
He
uses colored inks. Yeah.
Oh wow, he's playing with dangerous
right.
materials.
I told him it was witchcraft. It's just
very unforgiving. That's bad.
Very nice.
I'm just picking 1 or 2 at random for you.
He's a great designer, as Russ will tell you.
There's another one.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Oh yeah, that's badass.
Oh, that's cool to have the sketch and then have the full painted piece next to it. Very nice. A lot more people doing hardback editions, Gary.
Well, you know, if you get the backers, then why not?
Yeah.
I mean, it makes it an official coffee table book.
Yeah, I mean, back in the day, that was kind of a special thing, but I'm seeing more and more of it now.
I still love that R. Chrome coffee table book. I picked up a while back. Something to be said about those giant art books.
I think that's what.
Yeah.
I mean, Dave's got a collection of every huge.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got 3 or 4. We call them tables.
They are tables. Yeah. They are tables.
I
They
like
are.
it
You have
because
some huge additions.
yeah, because the artwork's full size. You get to see
Yeah.
everything. You know, like
Dave, can you show us I actually saw the Fantastic Four example of this today on Twitter. Can you show us the thing that you got in about 6 months ago with the old black light posters? You have that handy?
Yeah. Yeah, I can
Okay.
show you the back of the box.
Okay.
Hang on. Just have to dig it out.
Yeah, it used to be, he kind of repositioned his camera. He's a big Gary Anderson fan. Are you a Gary Anderson fan, Russ?
I'll have to stand up.
oh shoot, look at that.
Oh,
Good
look at
Lord have
that.
mercy.
I'll have to stand up. Yeah. Classic black light posters from the Bronze Age.
That's a book.
There, oh yeah.
Jesus.
I told you he had a few tables.
Wow.
I thought I had a big book, but that's really big.
I've never seen
That's
that.
really big.
Good
That's
Lord.
what she said. I see some.
Can you imagine the shipping on that?
No doubt.
Really?
I know.
Yeah.
I see some Jack Kirby. I see some of your favorite artist. Who's your favorite artist? Gene Colan.
Gene Colan.
Gene
Yeah.
Colan, yeah.
Gene
He
Colan,
did that
yeah.
Iron Man piece on the cover.
This is the biggest thing I've ever bought.
I would say so, yeah. You can go, surfing with that thing.
We bought that first and then the house to hold it.
You're
I've
right.
actually got this for you, Rex, so you can see better. This is the brochure that came with it.
Okay. All right.
So
That's the trading card that came with the book. That's
Is that Dick?
that's right.
Yeah, that probably is. That looks like some Herb Trimpe there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not
And
sure
this
about the
opens-
Doctor Strange.
It opens out like
Oh,
this.
look at that Medusa.
Oh, that's awesome.
I had a few of those posters on my wall when I was younger.
Did you really?
Yep.
Wow. I think I have one. You would get that type of thing from the carnivals, the fairs when they came around. Howbeit they would be very small. And the velvet flocked posters, wildly colored. Oh yeah.
This
Look at that, Doctor Strange with the mask.
Yeah, that's Gene Colan.
Yeah.
See you, Eric Boyd. Take care, buddy.
See you, Eric. Take care.
See ya.
That's it.
That's
Just
beautiful.
The brochure of all the kind of opens out.
Doc, I think that's
the brochure.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Wow.
Love the colors.
Who published that? Wonderful toys.
Who
published that? Dave? Was that Marl Press or?
Yeah, but it was published by. Hang on. It was published by Abrams Comic Arts, I think. Abrams.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mine isn't as big as yours, but the biggest book I've got is a Brian Bolland. It's quite heavy actually.
Oh, Brian Bolland. Yeah.
It's got black and white artwork.
Well, you were probably, I and Dave talked about this a lot. You probably were exposed to. Wow, that is big when you really.
Yeah,
I've
I
also
missed.
got a John Buscema one as well. So it's
I missed
gorgeous
when
book.
that came out and tried to get it recently, and I can't afford it now.
Well, I've got
it's gone up a lot. Yeah. Yeah.
Second mortgage.
I've got a few various artist editions in the
Don't
massive
do
books,
Yeah, I have a few.
Yeah.
I've got that one, the Buscema one. I've also got a book of the Buscema exhibition as well, which is quite large.
Yeah, I think I've got that one,
Kind of envious of you guys in the UK because you probably, Camelot 3000 was my first experience with his artwork, but you had Alan Davis, you had
that one, yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah,
I have that one. It's absolutely wonderful.
That's a great book.
Wonderful.
That's a great book. Yeah.
It's got so many different variations of Buscema in it. It's cracking.
Yeah, we're gonna have to take
We're gonna have to
take a deep dive on that one, Dave.
Yeah, that's a really, really good book.
Keep that thing handy, and it's thick. Look,
it is. Look at that.
It is. It has girth.
I should keep that handy. Yeah. I'll keep this one handy, Rex.
Okay.
You mentioned,
no, but over here it would have been 2000 AD. He first. I don't know if he did anything in Future Shocks before he did Judge Dredd.
Well, now that the other day there was another British artist passed away that did a lot of those Eagle comics.
Yeah, Ian Gibson. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Ian Gibson went the other day. Yeah.
Yeah.
We did the show. We did Halo Jones on Comics by Night on Friday about Ian. Yeah.
Well, it was the 80s before I was even exposed to Judge Dredd, Halo, or Rogue Trooper, or Strontium Dog, or any of that stuff, or even the AD magazine. I had no clue. Yeah. And I mean, Dave Gibbons, you knew, and Alan Davis, and Brian Bolland, and all those artists before I was there.
Dave Gibbons did some great work on Doctor Who magazine for Marvel as well.
Yeah,
and Marvel had it. He's fantastic.
Oh,
and
I think he's underrated.
Carlos Esquerra did Strontium Dog in Star-Lord magazine before it combined with 2000 AD. So it's great stuff.
You mentioned earlier Camelot 3000.
Yeah.
Len Wein was the editor on that book, and I walked into his office when he was opening up a package of art from Brian, and it had Camelot pencil pages and a cover that Brian had inked. And so in my greasy hands, I held those originals. That let me tell you, it changed my life.
I bet.
Was that was your first exposure?
I can see Brian Bolland in your work, Gary, because it's so good.
Well, I studied him like crazy, and he was a huge influence on my work.
Well, I mean, he's more of those realistic sequential artists, I think, kind of in a different vein than, say, Neil Adams. But he's often.
I think both of them did something that was akin to realism. But I think what's great about great comic artists is it's effectively impressionism. If you look at Buscema's work and the way that he stretched the figure, but had an amazing understanding of anatomy and figure drawing and weight and posture, and Brian Bolland and Adams, they were both the same. All three of them were the same. They had this understanding about composition and figure drawing and just how to draw everything. But at the same time, it wasn't real. It was this impressionism. Right. It was just, it fooled the mind. It's like, it's genius work. All three of those guys are genius.
Well, I mean, but then you've got some that just like Gene Colan, that's like, whoa, man, nobody draws like Gene Colan except Gene Colan.
No. Yeah.
You know?
And he can do stuff in his work where it's like there's some janky anatomy and it doesn't matter.
And I would say Gil Kane too. He's kind of unique in the way he does.
Oh, Gil Kane was amazing.
Yeah. Gil Kane.
I can't. You know, maybe Al Milgrom. He did a lot of covers, but I can't think of anybody. Maybe in the Bronze Age that did more than maybe for at least. I think some of his finest stuff in Marvel. I have that book.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, that's is that 600? I forget. 700?
So
601.
Gil Kane.
601. Okay.
Gil Kane
I had that one.
Gil Kane on Spider-Man with Romita inking him was was pretty cool. That was.
What's the date on that artwork?
Impressive stuff.
That was one of his latter works before he passed away, actually.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I'll just see when it was published.
Mike Royers, I didn't even know. I bought a comic book from him off eBay and didn't even know that he had inked so much Jack Kirby. Did you know Mike, Gary?
Yeah. Him and I lived in Oregon at the same time, and we would bump into each other
Okay.
at conventions, and we go out to dinner afterward. And he was a Steve Rude fan, and so when I was working on Nexus over Steve Rude, we'd talk a lot because he's good friends with Steve, and he told me a lot of Kirby stories that when he was inking Kirby at DC, he was inking and lettering the pages, and that's something that Kirby wanted is an inker / letterer, and he told me he had to average inking 3 pages a day plus the lettering to keep up with that.
Oh yeah,
that's crazy, crazy fast.
Did he give a reason why he wanted him to be a letterer as well?
To cut down on the traffic, shipping pages all over the place. So the inker is also the letterer. Those days, you're shipping the physical art
right
to the inker, and you would also ship it to the letterer. So that remove that stage.
Direct or indirect? What's your favorite?
And lettering 3 pages a day. I couldn't do that.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot. I mean, and I assume that's the sound effects as well, right?
Yeah. Borders, sound effects, and dialogue. Yep.
Nobody cracked the whip on you that hard, did they?
Well, I mean, he knew he had to do that to keep the gig, because that's the condition. Kirby said, "Yeah, you can be my inker, but you have to ink 3 pages a day."
Wow.
and he said, "Okay."
George Tuska drew a lot, like Cullen to a lesser extent. Billy Graham, yeah. Billy Graham, I know that he did like Hero for Hire, right? A lot of those. George Tuska did a lot of Iron Man, bunch of stuff. Yeah, George Tuska goes way back. I mean, he was doing things back in the 50s.
Yeah, he was around at the beginning. That's a name you don't hear as often as we should.
Yeah. Kurt Swan. I mean, he goes back to the mid 50s, I guess, and there,
the golden age.
Yeah.
There were so many great artists back then. Like, there wasn't really a house style everybody was following though, and that's one thing I loved about like comics before 1990. You know what I'm saying? Like
variety.
Everybody was distinctive, and I don't know, like it was once the 90s hit and people seeing like, hey, if I draw like Rob Liefeld, I can get
right.
Yeah.
It was Jim Lee. I remember submitting to Marvel in the 90s, and a guy called the new talent manager was John Louis Lewandowski, and I got a very nice message back from him saying, yeah, we really like your work, and could you do this? And I did that, and they wanted you to look like Jim Lee.
Yeah,
and I couldn't. There's no way I'm like that. There's no way I can do that.
It caused comics to be stagnant.
Yeah,
because the writing. I mean, and that's another thing too. Like Todd had a good run on his independent, like the Spider-Man series, not the Amazing Spider-Man, but just Spider-Man. Like he wrote it very well. But I'm not saying Todd's a really good writer, and I know for a fact Liefeld is not a very good writer. And when they let their artists like go crazy and just start writing their own work so they can collect a double paycheck, it was look, there's a lot of artists out there that probably can write a good story, but most of the time you get an artist that's a really good plotter. You know what I'm saying? And you need a professional writer to come in and kind of tighten everything up.
But then you have some like Walt Simonson, not even mention Louise's wife, but
did Louise have anything to do with Walt writing? Did she help him out? Because it kind of seems like him and Louise were like a team, and he bounced things off of her.
I mean, I've heard that.
Oh yeah, I mean, she was an editor for a while at Marvel, so she knew what she was doing.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like Walt had an angel on his shoulder when
she wrote.
You know what I'm saying?
She wrote a lot of that Power Pack stuff in the 80s.
Yeah,
but still, I mean, I know what you mean. Like it's few and far between that you'll get a writer artist.
Yeah,
that is brilliant. Both. Yeah, it's.
I mean, even Mike Allred, which I'm a huge fan of Mike Allred's work. Like,
wow, I haven't heard that name in a minute.
Well, he even back when he did Madman, like his Madman series was insane. But even he said like his wife was like, like heavily influenced everything that he did with Madman. In fact,
Well,
she colored it too.
I find it interesting, and not a lot of people know, but like in Challengers of the Unknown and some of the early DC stuff that Kirby did, Roz Kirby actually inked a lot of Kirby stuff.
Wait, what? Kirby?
Roz Kirby, Jack Kirby's wife, actually inked a lot of that.
Did she really?
In the old days. Yeah.
Sometimes credited, sometimes uncredited. Yeah.
Yeah. And for a long time I thought I thought like the artists back in the 60s, and 50s, I think like comic artists, I thought they
Snuggie.
were like the worst artists I've ever seen, besides like Kirby and some very few that were really, really good. But then I got a hold of some pre-code sci-fi books, and almost every one of those books, like you had like some dude that drew exactly like Steve Rude in those old books. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, I mean, it was like the greatest artwork you've ever seen.
Like the old EC stuff?
Yeah, except it was, I got it right up here. It's Crusaders from Mars. And it was by, I can't read the name. It's too high up.
Well, now you buy that comic just for the title.
Yeah.
You
have a Wally Wood recreation, don't you, Gary?
Yeah, I did a bunch of those. I do a lot of recreations as commissions, and I learn a ton by doing those.
Remind me what you read as a kid when you were younger.
Mostly Marvel.
I
wasn't really a DC guy at that. When I was a kid, DC was doing stuff, like every issue of Superman, there was somebody different beating him up. Like one month it was Jimmy Olsen, the next month it was Perry White, the next month it was, they didn't know what to do with Superman. It was just, for me, it was over the top silly.
Do you think that was because he was too powerful a character?
No, they didn't know what to do with him. Literally, they did not know. And you look at the stories, they were on the goofy side. And at the same time, Marvel was doing, Stan Lee, Stan Lee was writing a bunch of the Kirby books.
Right.
Gene Colan, John Buscema, who am I forgetting?
Herb Trim.
Marvel had this amazing pool of artists that
Don Heck was one of
that
them.
were not. I don't think, like John Romita. I don't think that group will ever be equaled in terms of the talent that was there.
Yeah, that was Murderer's Row.
Yeah, and those are the comics that I was reading when I was a kid. Is that stuff. When I finally broke into comics and I was living in New York and I'm going to the office, Julie Schwartz was the Superman editor at the time.
Yeah.
And I was always showing my work, trying to drum up some gigs. And I did a illustration of Superman and showed it to him. And he said, "Oh, that's pretty good." He says, "You keep doing those, keep showing them to me. That's how we get a lot of our stories, is that artists show me drawings and then I show the drawings to the writers and then the writers write a story around the drawings." And I thought, wow, you don't have a clue of what you're doing. And you're the Superman editor, that the writers can't think of stories for the icon
and
of Superman.
And he, Julius Schwartz, he went all the way back to the pulp era. He wrote some pulp stuff.
He was a legend. But it was like Mr. Wizard behind the curtain. He did not have a clue.
Well, there were some strong personalities over there at DC.
Oh yeah, I mean it's I don't know about personalities. I would say egos, strong egos.
Well, Carmen Infantino. I mean, some of those guys were old school, hardcore.
Well, I mean that's an example of DC is Kirby his vision was to be an editor,
Yeah.
not draw his fourth world, but be an editor in charge of a bunch of artists. You know, like he invited some of the Marvel artists like John Romita to come to DC and draw, you know, some of the fourth world stuff. And DC didn't want him to be that powerful. And that's why they shut down a lot of his work, is because it was it was a political thing.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Can you imagine what could have happened if they would have let Kirby off the chain?
Yeah, right. That's
he could have created a mythos that they're still using today.
Yeah.
Kirby, I don't think people actually understand how much of a genius Kirby was. Like, he wasn't just penciling and inking.
Why do you think that was a big ambition? Was it that he could kind of take a slower pace at a higher paycheck, and then it also harkened back to him and Joe Simon sort of being their own bosses back in the 40s?
I think Kirby was an artist, and he wanted to explore more.
He was a creator. Yeah, he was a creator, and he had, you know, he had bottomless wells of ideas that he wanted to do, and not enough time to do them.
He was trying to do like French comics. Like, he was trying to.
If he had a team of people under him, he could create a bigger story, couldn't he?
Right.
Create a bigger world.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So if he had a pool of top artists to draw from, you know, and to farm out his ideas, then we would have seen, you know, the tip of the iceberg. But what he did, we, you know, just scratched the surface of
starting with Texas Dave. Who would you like to see ink Jack Kirby? Your number one inker.
I'm not sure really, because I've seen different inkers do his work. So, you know, they've all got their own styles, haven't they?
All right. Well, thank you for joining us. That was useless.
Wow.
That was harsh.
Yeah. We better start walking on eggshells.
Yeah.
All right.
Give him the
How
answer
about
he
you,
wants.
Gary? Who would you like to see? I know a lot of people say Joe Sennett. That's not my pick. I'll give you my pick here in a minute. But your number one person to ink Kirby, you think?
I don't really. It depends on the material.
Yeah.
I love Sennett's inking on Kirby, but I would not want him inking everything.
Right.
I love what he did on Fantastic Four.
Vince Colletta on Thor.
I didn't like Coletta's on Kirby.
I didn't either. It was too weak a line.
But I would get I've had this argument with Steve Rude. Steve Rude loved Coletta on Thor. On Kirby on Thor. I didn't care for it. Royer did a great job on Kirby's DC stuff.
Thank you, Shadowhawk.
Some of my favorite work as an ink artist, Royer on Kirby on the Demon at DC.
Yeah,
I love that, the artwork on that book, and I can't see anybody else doing that. You know, so it really depends on the characters that you're talking about.
Okay, well that's okay. I won't kick you over that one. How about you, Russ?
How can you follow that answer?
Right.
It was comprehensive. I'll show my ignorance. I can't see any further than Sinnott, I'm afraid, because he's my favorite.
Okay. So. All right. How about you, Mr. Doc Salem?
Jimmy Reyes. I don't know a lot about inkers. I'm not a huge follower.
Yeah. How about you, Doc?
If Gary Martin wasn't available, it would be maybe Tom Palmer.
On Kirby?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I inked Kirby. I did one Kirby piece on a DC, a Who's Who.
Oh,
and
okay.
I wish I had that back. I wish
for
I
the
did
Who's Who handbook.
Yeah, the DC Who's Who. Yeah.
Do you remember the character?
It was Forever People character.
Oh, okay.
Do you guys remember?
It was Serafian, I think the character's name was.
So my first choice, Gary Martin.
But you guys remember
one page doesn't create a legacy.
Do you guys remember when Kirby put out an image book? And
Yes.
they had all the image artists like ink Kirby's work. Like each page had a different...
Liefeld and Todd McFarlane. I mean, Todd
I would have been terrified to do that.
It looked amazing. I thought it was great. Like it was, it
I mean, I'm
opened
sure, but
possibilities of just having Kirby as a base and then having...
All right, my number one inker choice for me to ink Kirby, and he only did one issue of Fantastic Four, which is sad. They did a lot of the early Atlas Monster stuff together, and he also inked. It was Fantastic Four 13, first appearance of Watcher, Red Ghost, and the Super Apes, and he also inked Kirby on the Submariner cover for issue 14. Steve Ditko. I like Steve Ditko's inks over Kirby.
I don't recall any of that.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that, but I had.
Do you have any of those images? I would love to see that.
Yeah, I can definitely bring something up.
I would love to see that.
Yeah,
Steve was amazing.
Knowledge.
I got a couple of Eerie books that he did. It's just crazy. I didn't realize how good Steve was until I seen him do horror.
I know he was. Yeah, I inked 3 Ditko stories at DC for some of their mystery books, like House of Secrets and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I freely admit today, they should not have given me those gigs because I didn't know what I was doing, so that's another job that I would like back. Boy, I'd love to ink those again.
Did Steve give you any input on your...
No.
No?
Straight on to the next work.
Yeah, thank God I didn't hear what Steve thought.
Who is this person?
Exactly.
No, I don't think he would have did that.
What do you think about Mike Kaluta?
Who are you asking?
Anybody.
Everybody's being diplomatic. I would say Kaluta, out of all the artists in the studio, Barry Smith, Wrightson, Kaluta, who else is, I'm missing some. I think Kaluta was the weaker link in that group. He was a good illustrator, but I don't think he was as good as, some of those other guys. But yeah, I mean, that's unfair. I mean,
did you see Kaluta's work on the Shadow?
Yeah,
in the early 70s for DC.
But I saw Wrightson did an ad for that, and that's what I was expecting. Actually, I did. Wow, you are Johnny on the spot. I just did a recreation of the letters page for the advertisement for that.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's crazy.
Oh, check that
That's
out.
fantastic.
Bravo, sir.
So that's that's what I was expecting, and then
my address
Wrightson didn't do the book. He just did some spot illustrations.
Well, they had to leave something for you to do, Gary.
Well, I'm flattered, but that's a lie.
Okay, well, I tried.
But that's just a recreation that I did. You remember that advertisement for the Shadow, and I think did Wrightson do any of the covers?
Well, I had Jeremy Burtz do that recreation.
Oh, see, that's hard to look at.
Yeah, well,
it's a nice illustration, but I would never take on a commission like that.
Well, it's supposed to be chaos, and I wanted that one particular image in there because it's so defining moment in sort of 60s history, of the cost of war,
Roy,
I guess.
Sorry to interrupt you. Art of Roy in the chat. Kaluta's heavy metal stuff was great. And that's when he was like coloring his own work, and he was doing some, he was doing stuff that he didn't have time to do in comics. I think it's probably because his page rate at heavy metal is a little better than at
Preston, I'll tell you someone who also works some Todd McFarlane in their stuff, Mike Mahan.
Okay.
Are you familiar
I'll be
with
very
Mike's
honest.
stuff?
Like, the '90s were okay. I wasn't like I was like everybody else. Like I fell into the image thing, and I was like, oh, these artists are fantastic. But the problem is I never knew these artists worked for Marvel. You know what I'm saying? Like I never knew Dale Keown did Hulk, and then once I seen the Pit, I was like, oh, he did Hulk too. So I went after it. If it wasn't for Heavy Metal Magazine, I don't think I would be like drawing comics. You know what I'm saying? Like because it kind of opened my mind.
Well, that's a good point. Heavy metal was very influential.
Yeah.
Todd McFarlane in that.
Who's the artist?
I can tell you, like
Chris
Graves. Chris
Mayhem.
Graves has a huge Todd McFarlane influence on his work. Guy who's doing that book with Pullman, Wraith and Pain, I think it is.
Well, what you were talking about, Preston, I was glad to see some of the newer up and coming artists, which they'd been in the field a little bit, by that point, but like Todd McFarlane and Rob Liefeld get their shot at doing at least one Kirby cover.
Yeah.
Or Kirby anything.
Well, they did like I said in the '90s when they had that big movement to get Kirby's artwork back, right? You remember that? Like everybody was, well, then like to help Kirby get more, like some extra money, they put out a book by Kirby. You remember that, right? With Image.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. They all like Eric Larson, and back then I was a big Eric Larson fan. Nowadays, not so much, but like they all got a chance to ink Kirby's work, and I think I don't know if those pages were sold and given to the Kirby's, or I'm not sure what happened to those pages, but yeah, I mean, they all had a chance to ink Kirby's work back. Even Mark Silvestri did a page or two out of that book.
Jeez.
I got to get that book again. I lost that book.
No doubt, man. I missed that completely, and
I lost that during Katrina. But it's a thick book, and it's all original Kirby characters, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
From what I remember, and I'll be very, very honest. Like I was not a huge Kirby fan before that book, and in fact, I wasn't a Kirby fan until I got a little older, and when I could appreciate his work. Well,
also that was kind of at Kirby's twilight of his career. It was at, Kirby, the prime Kirby stuff.
I think he died like
recently after that.
Like,
94. Yeah.
It's so many people's stories. I have the same story where I didn't appreciate Kirby when I was younger and appreciated him when I was older. Is because you can appreciate more varied versions of art. You can see different styles. You can appreciate different styles. And when you're younger, you can't. It's pretty simple. It's the same story with so many of us.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. Like you don't realize like all the elements that you appreciate in other artists' work. It all started with Kirby, and his layouts and his dynamic figure drawing and all that kind of stuff. I think even Sal Buscema like pulled from Kirby. Because
Kirby was the guy at Marvel. I mean, they all tried to emulate what he was doing, and Stan wanted everybody to emulate what he was doing.
And a lot of them did, like Barry Windsor Smith, Rich Buckler, bunch of artists in the 70s.
Barry was a carbon copy of Kirby when he first started.
And Jim Steranko, absolutely.
Yeah, Jim.
I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah, his early Nick Fury stuff. Kirby was doing the layouts.
Yeah.
And Steranko was finishing them, and he was.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
that's another thing too. Like Kirby, like he rewrote how you did thumbnails. Because everybody was doing these detailed thumbnails. Kirby's like, "Nah, we got to do this quick." He was doing stick figures and stuff like that, turning it in. And because he wanted to get the pages knocked out. It's all about speed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he definitely. I mean, he paved the way for everything we do.
Yeah, everything image artists did. Like that's all. Like when you look at early Rob Liefeld's work, right, when he was doing X-Force, and you see those dynamic jumps and all these crazy page layouts and shit like that. He's just building on what Kirby already did. And you can almost put those pages up against like Kirby pages, like Thor pages and stuff like that. And it's a little bit more raw, but it's the building blocks of what
a lot more raw. You're being diplomatic.
No, you're right.
You're right. I mean, he was definitely influenced by Kirby. Yeah.
And he had a method, like the first page was almost always a splash page, or second page was almost like a double splash or something like that. It was because he wanted to hit you hard coming out of the gate. And if you look at the book, like I got Kirby's, like the first run of his from Thor 100 to 200, right? And like you look at those books, and one thing I noticed is that in the beginning, when he first puts out a character, he always hits you with a bunch of introductions, and then he starts really telling a story after that, Like most of the intros, all those characters in Asgard was introduced within those first maybe 20 issues, 30 issues of Thor, Journey into Mystery. And then, then the story really started taking off. Yeah. And I don't know. He just had a method, a formula.
What you were saying there about the splash page and everything, the way that you approached what you did, so many people get hung up on the style.
Yeah.
And not just his storytelling.
Exactly. Not the technique. And you're looking
at
at like these crazy knees he used to do, or it was just a square,
Yeah, that was the stuff that was the stuff that pissed me off when I was a kid.
Yeah, exactly. Because the thing is that you look at early Kirby work, and you can see like his anatomy was spot on.
Yeah, he knew what he was doing. Yeah,
exactly. But then streamline his illustration work. Yeah. He started making up anatomy on the fly.
It was fabulous. It's all a choice, and you don't get to see that until you're older, and you then.
I was going to say about appreciating
seeing so many different styles.
I was going to say about appreciating artists. I didn't appreciate Ditko because of the era I saw him in. I did appreciate the little novels that I got of his older, like Doctor Strange stuff. Fabulous stuff. I loved it. But now when I would see him in like a Fantastic Four annual in 1983, not so much, it really depends on, like Gary was saying, his work, Jack Kirby's work for Topps was like at his right before he died, twilight years. So it really depends on the years that you experience. Do
you think Kirby and Ditko dropped acid?
No,
I don't think Ditko did. But
no, I'm just saying because some of those cosmic scenes and some of those.
Kirby,
they thought
Kirby wouldn't. Kirby was very conservative.
Yeah,
I mean he was Captain America.
Yeah, he was a World War II vet.
Absolutely.
So the concept, he wouldn't even have considered doing something like that.
And
he was
Ditko
was like Kirby was so far out there, that it makes us mortals, question where he came from.
He had a connection to the cosmic mind, a direct route.
I think he was just so creative. Like it was crazy. Like when I said like he was experimenting with French comics, I don't know how he got exposed to it, but like I was watching a documentary and they were saying like Kirby started doing books where he would just take like magazines and cut them up and just start pasting them up. And wasn't it the first appearance of Ego, the Living Planet, was basically a collage of photos? Am I right about that?
Yeah, he did a lot of that.
He did a lot of that, yeah.
And he approached Marvel and DC about doing a whole book where it was just photos, and they turned it down flat.
Yeah, of course they turned them down.
Well, I know he did that gangster book in the early 70s, the Roaring 20s.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, he also did the romance, a black romance comic.
Yeah, really?
Tomorrow.
When was that? Was that in the 40s or did that come later?
No, that was later.
Okay, because Joe Simon and him invented or came out with, wasn't it True Love was the first romance comic that they both came out with?
That's before my time.
Yeah.
From what I understand, that's right, because they made a ton of money off of those romance comics back in the day.
I mean, John Romita Sr. doing all those romance.
He did, John Romita did a ton of
John
those.
Buscema did a few.
skills before he did Spider-Man was romance books.
Absolutely.
And that's why
I mean,
Gwen Stacy was so amazing, because of John Romita's,
face it,
working on
Stan
romance
Lee,
books.
you've hit the jackpot.
Yeah, exactly.
You want a lesson in making a page exciting. I mean, there weren't any superheroes in those romance books.
Right.
They were all slice of life for all intents and purposes. That's what they were, slice of life romance. And they were incredible to look at.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
visually, amazing. Yeah.
God, I'd love to take a look at those books.
Oh,
Yeah,
even I even have one that Walt Simonson did in the Bronze Age.
A romance book?
So a lot of people have dipped their toes in the romance that you would not think had ever done a romance.
Those guys were
do everything.
Yeah, they were mercenaries, man. They go where the paycheck was.
Yeah.
Right. And talking about romance books, one of the greatest comic artists who ever lived did the best romance stories was Frazetta.
No way.
Yeah.
I've heard that he used to do like sci-fi, and I never knew he did. Look up Untamed Love, and there's a lot of great reproduction of his black and white work. Russ Cochran put out a book, a larger format book in black and white, and you could see Frazetta's masterful inking and some of the stuff that he did on that, and that's the stuff that inspired Dave Stevens and a lot of his characters, especially Betty Page, was Frazetta's romance stuff.
I was going to mention Dave Stevens. I mean, he's, what a loss, Can you imagine if he was still doing stuff where he would be at right now?
Yeah.
There was so much movement to Frank's work.
But like that striped sleeveless tube top that Dave put Betty Page in, he got that from Frazetta.
Yeah. Yeah, Frazetta was a huge influence.
Interesting.
Fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many people that just get lost in the hustle of things, like inkers. I mean, George Rousseau's and Dan Atkins and
Atkins, yeah.
I mean, it was up and down when it came to consistency, like on the inkers on Avengers, and even on the early Fantastic Four issues. I know with Fantastic Four #5, that was the first time. That's when they go back in time, and the Thing, being Grim, becomes Bluebeard the pirate.
Oh yeah,
they're on Doctor Doom's time platform, and they go back in time, and Joe Sennett inked that, and he would not ink Jack Kirby till the introduction of Gorgo or somewhere around there, in the 40s. And it was, even after he started inking him on a regular basis, it was like 11 years before they actually met in person, because you used to, they'd put the artwork in packets and mail it off, right?
I think there's stories of Sinnott saying that he'd get packages from Kirby and just sit there for a day looking at it.
Wow.
Yeah, I can't even imagine.
Yeah, just so blown away by it before he even got started on it.
There were a lot of problems shipping artwork all over the place.
Well, I got a feeling a lot of that artwork would have got lost.
Yeah, I only had one instance where the DC, I can't remember what book it was, but DC lost pages that they were shipping to me, and so they lost the originals, and so they shipped me Xeroxes of the pencils, and I had to ink a whole issue on vellum over Xeroxes.
That sucks.
Yeah, that was not fun.
Do you use a light table a lot whenever you do your work, or is it?
I do now when I do recreations. I get a high-res image like the Frankenstein piece.
Yeah.
High-res image and print it out, and then light box it on Bristol board, and then have the image side by side, next to me on the drawing table, and refer to it as I ink to try to mimic the ink.
Gary's a glutton for punishment, confirmed.
But I'm trying to, when I do a recreation, I'm not trying to give them Gary Martin's Frankenstein. I'm trying to recreate, and then
sure,
that's how I learn techniques and, get into the head of
I guess it's Lightbox how they do a lot of the cover recreations, right?
Right. And that's, but I can't.
I'm like, how do they do that? I mean, even if the original artist that drew it way back when is
now they can
reproducing
scan
the
in
same
the
thing, how did
pencils.
they get it so precise? I guess you would just about have to use a Lightbox.
I'll scan the pencils in, print out.
The inking is the key to doing recreations. And there's a lot of recreations out there that are frankly awful because the artists aren't that, they're not that good at the inking, or they ink on top of the Lightbox, and you really can't see the lines that well when you're doing it.
Yeah.
And so that's why I have the original version, Xerox of the original version next to me. And I'm trying to mimic the thicks and thins, and like if I'm doing a Bolin recreation and he puts down 5 lines, I try to ink 5 lines. I don't just look at it and then do my own thing.
Super impressive. I couldn't.
Now, where Gary,
right?
It's like you were saying last time I saw you. You were saying to me about not using Whiteout.
I try not to.
Yeah, I love Whiteout.
Well, I don't know where this came from, but I always wanted the original art to look pristine, because I always thought about the collector, the art collector, and what they were getting, and it doesn't make any difference, for the reproduction.
See, I think the same way. Like when I do a cover, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't spare where the logo is supposed to go. I fill that area up, and like a lot of people try to make. Trying to incorporate. I'm like, no, that's not for you. That's for whoever buys the owner.
Right. And that's what I try to do. Like when I fill in my blacks, as an example, I have a bottle of ink that I leave the cap off. Higgins Black Magic.
Yeah. Because it makes it black,
and
right?
the ink gets pretty dark when you do that. And so I'll do my line work, and then I'll, erase the pencils. And that lightens the ink a little bit when you erase over the pencils. And then I fill in the blacks and with the darker black ink. And so the black, large areas of black are more consistent. And it just makes the original art look sharper.
Gary,
and
what about paper?
Reproduction is just something I just think of as a collector.
I've got to bring up paper, what you like to ink on, or you talked about having to ink over that vellum. That was a nightmare.
Any heavier weight, Bristol board, with a little bit of tooth to it. I don't like real slick paper. A lot of the company paper that was provided was fine. I know it's like actually some of it was pretty good because I'm a brush guy. I can get away with, different types of paper. Some guys would complain. I'm like,
well, that's true.
I used to live near Carl Kiesel. We shared a studio, and he would always complain about different kinds of paper because as an inker, a penciler picks the paper. And so you have to ink it on whatever.
Right. Yeah.
And some paper takes pens well and some paper doesn't.
Now, Glenn uses an illustration board. Do you know what that's called, Doc? Or maybe you, Dave? Do you know the board that he kind of does Hatch and all his other stuff on?
Yeah. We used to use illustration board back in the day.
It's like an illustration board.
That's when I say Bristol board. That's the same thing.
He uses a slightly thicker board here.
Yeah, it's
stuff we used to use.
Press.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I use a thinner Bristol. I use 180 GSM, so that I can print the blue line off.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Like, Gary, do you still you don't ink over the original art anymore, do you? Like
sometimes, but I do a lot of blue line, and so the paper has to be able to go through my printer, so it can't be really thick. Yeah. I mean, if I'm inking someone else, most of the time nowadays it's on blue line.
Gary, if you had 5 pieces turned into you by 5 different artists, who would they be? I mean, that your go-to that you'd like to ink. Maybe somebody that you've inked, maybe somebody you've never inked, but you want to ink and take a crack at. Like maybe Walt Simonson. Walt Simonson is off the chain when it,
Walt Simon,
to,
he would not be on my list,
right?
Because he's so impressionistic.
Yeah, he is. Yeah,
I would be more of a Brian Boland, Dave Gibbons.
Yeah.
Probably a guy that I've inked a lot over my career, and I still love his work, is David Williams. He just finished a Bass Reeves project, and he's working on a Ethan Van Sciver. It's called Fearsome. Yeah, I've inked a bunch of his stuff. I love his work.
Al Williamson would be good.
David Williams, yeah.
I mean, you can go back. Alex Raymond. You could go back.
Okay, well, yeesh. Alex Raymond. It would be like, inking Alex Raymond would be like inking Steve Rude. I studied a lot of Raymond before I inked Steve Rude. Some of those guys, though, they're so iconic.
What about Dave Stevens? Would you like to ink something like that? Oh,
absolutely. Yeah, Dave Stevens.
Hey guys, I gotta head out, but this has been a blast. I'll talk to you guys.
Preston, we're gonna have to set up a time where we have only you on.
Excellent.
Maybe after Christmas. Whatever.
Definitely after Christmas.
Okay, definitely.
Good to see you, Preston. Take care, buddy.
Good to see you, Preston. Take care.
Rex, I got to bounce also.
Okay, Doc. Take care. Thanks for all your hard work today.
Yeah, nice to see you, Doc.
Panel with such illustrious gentlemen.
Oh my!
Chat. You guys rock, Rex. Whatever. Congratulations on 600, buddy.
Okay, he'll never be on again. Anyway, you got to keep, you got to keep a short leash, Russ. Oh yeah. How about you, Russ? Anybody that you'd like to work over besides John Buscema?
No, well, John Buscema would probably intimidate me to death.
Oh, he'd be very difficult to ink.
And he'd be difficult because he's so loose.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think he only ever liked Sal, didn't he, over his inks, over his pencils. Yeah, no, I couldn't really. I'm not a proficient enough inker to suggest that I would ink other people's work. I'm quite happy inking my own because I know what I'm doing. But I
you know what you want.
Myself. Yeah, I know exactly what I want.
Now, do you take a shortcut? Like I will. Okay, no need to pencil all that in. I can do a lot of it with the brush or whatever I'm inking with. A lot of artists do that, don't they? Do you do that, Gary, or do you?
Yeah. I'm
kind of a shortcut.
Yeah, I'm close to going that route. At the moment, I'm doing a lot more penciling than I think I should, simply because I'm just not as confident as I should be. It's about hours. It's about putting that time in, and the more time I put into inking, because I started in 2010. I had a career up till then, and that's when I came to comic books properly.
And we're glad you did.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And I started using a Cintiq. I started using screens to do everything that I was doing. And it was only, 3 or 4 years ago that I decided, no, I've really, the effect that I wanted wasn't getting produced by digitally doing it. I wanted to hit the paper properly with an ink brush. So up until that time, I'd done everything digitally. And that meant that I felt that I'd actually learned quite a lot quite quickly, and I got a lot of gigs, and I was really sort of pleased with my progress. But but after that, I decided no, I wanted to do this physically because two things. One, I wanted a particular kind of look. I wanted that energy that you get from a real brush and a real pen, but also I wanted to be able to sell my work. So there was kind of like two things going on there. And
that's a huge part of it. A lot of people don't even talk about that part, but that's a huge part of it.
Yeah. So I wanted to do that. And so that meant that I'm slightly behind, as it were, as far as experience with traditional inking. So I'm still penciling too detailed. And I did that on the coal work, but I'm now starting to feel a lot more comfortable with the brushwork. So I think next time I hit the paper in the next project, it's going to be looser on the pencils.
Yeah. It's about building that confidence. Huh?
Definitely. Yeah, I don't have the experience that Gary has.
Well, for me, if I'm making my own work, I want all the brain work to be done in the pencil stage.
There is that.
I don't want to be, making choices in my inks. I just
totally agree.
Put the lines down, and so I tend to pencil pretty tight for myself.
Right. Oh, I don't feel so bad now.
Yeah.
Now, what about somebody who has a looser style, like say Joe Kubert? I mean, he didn't necessarily draw detailed feet. He's like, everybody knows what a foot looks like, just kind of indicate it.
Well, Kubert inked his own work, but Kubert didn't do tight pencils. He was basically inking layouts. And that speaks to Kubert's brilliance. Not that many artists can ink layouts.
No.
So he was doing a lot of the finishing in the ink stage. And I couldn't do that. To be honest, I couldn't do that. I would have to, I need to see the image. And he could see it in his head.
Like Kirby.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And there's just a couple of artists in comic history that can actually do that.
According to Marv Wolfman and Lean Wing, when they were boys, about 10 years old in New York City, they would see Kirby go over there to his place and see him do a drawing. He would put a foot down in the corner and he would come up here and do a hand. And somehow he had it all in his hand where all this disjointed stuff, he's not like, say, John Buscema, who does a gestural drawing of the whole thing and then tightens it up and it comes together. He would do segmented parts and it would all come together according to
because he saw the whole image in his head.
Yeah.
And so he could start with an eye, and draw a whole figure from an eye. And that's just like, that reminds me of that Amadeus film where Salieri is looking at Mozart's original sheet music, his original compositions, and there were no corrections. It's because Mozart would compose the music in his head, and then he would just write it down like he was dictating, like he was hearing it. And that's what Kirby did.
Yeah. It's definitely a different way of working than what most artists would do, right?
I can't do what.
No, nobody could do that.
No, I have to do it gesturally, like Buscema.
Yeah, you have to work it out. It's take. The eraser is a huge, tool.
Do you think Kirby's
away? And
do you think Kirby's work? Hey, Peter, or George, George Peter. Do you think Kirby's work suffered from working that way?
No. I'm just saying he was the only one that was capable of doing that. And he had so much stuff that he wanted to do. Because he was able to do that, then he could draw 5 pages a day.
Yeah.
6 or 7 days a week. And so you just look at his legacy, of the body of work that he did, is because he was cranking that stuff out at such a high level of quality because he composed it in his head. And if he had to do, what we did, draw layouts and gesture drawing and work out all that stuff on paper and then draw it, that would easily have cut his production in half.
Now, one thing Kirby had in mind with in common with these two next artists I want to kind of throw over your bow is animation, and that's Gray Morrow and Alex Toth.
Did Gray Morrow work in animation?
He worked on the Spider-Man 67. Yeah.
Interesting. I did not know that.
Yeah, he kind of did. He did what Toth was doing over at on the Spider-Man 67 that ran from 67 to 71, I believe. 58 episodes, something like that. He was kind of like what Kirby did on Thunder the Barbarian later, and then Alex Toth did for a couple decades over there at Hanna-Barbera. Of course, he created some characters like Space Ghost and just outright created some characters.
Toth's comic book work is just incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. And see, I did not know who Toth was till like 1983, till I saw some of his stuff in the Red Circle comics that came out.
Toth did a lot of obscure stuff because he wasn't a superhero illustrator.
Yeah.
He liked adventure stories and superhero books. When I grew up, that's what was popular. And so I didn't discover Toth until I was, way into it. And
did he do EC stuff or Eerie and wasn't he involved in some of that?
A little bit.
I think he did some of those anthology stories. Yeah.
But it was, it's all, detective stories, adventure, that kind of stuff. It wasn't, guys running around in capes. He did a little bit of it. He did more of that for animation I think than he did in comics.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, I'm just going to jump in and turn in for the day, I think.
Well, Dave, Texas Dave, thank you so much. You got one more week reprieve on the Doctor Who top 10 list of the Hartnells. So,
well, I was going to say I'm not sure if I'll be around next week because it's Boxing Day, so I'm not sure on that.
Oh, well, but, good luck with your match.
Yeah,
I was going to say that.
Yeah, what it is, like over here, we have Christmas Day and then we have Boxing Day. A bit like you.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm here 24/7, so 365.
So I'll probably see you
next year.
I'll probably see you the week after next, if that's all right.
Okay, all right. Well, that'll give me time. That'll give me more adequate time to get together my top 10 list.
Okay. So have a nice Christmas, everybody.
You too.
Nice meeting you.
And I'll see you next time.
We'll see you.
Okay.
Go
bye, everybody.
Feed Maya.
Yeah, I'm going to feed Maya for a turn in.
You better.
Bye, everybody.
You might not wake up.
I may not. See you later.
The cat's like, feed me, Seymour. Yeah. So when can we expect something out of you, Russ? I'm
aiming for the Shadow Kingdom to launch the crowdfunding campaign 1st of March.
Okay. Yeah.
I think I'm 6 pages away from finishing the inks.
I want to ask you this, Russ. Do you think it really matters what time you launch during the year? I think March is kind of a sweet spot because of tax returns. Christmas, like right here, like if I launch today, not a good time.
No, I wouldn't launch in December or January, personally.
Yeah.
And I'm staying away from February as well, just to make sure that people have spent money. Smart. There's they've got a lot of expenditure and comics aren't necessarily the top of their list. So I think March is a reasonable start. So,
what do you think, Edwin? What's a good time to launch a campaign?
Not during the later part of the year for sure. I would avoid October, November, December, January. Start from March on.
Yeah. Well, mine's going to launch February 3rd. I didn't want to wait that long, to tell you the truth. I wanted to do it back in October, but you're right. You're getting into the holiday seasons, and then it's just I'm going on Shay's channel, and might as well, if I'm going to wait that long, might as well. She has a larger channel, might as well launch over there. Plus, she makes it fun. She cosplays one of your characters. That's always got to be fun. Whoops, we lost Edwin.
I did launch Only Death Can Save Us 2 1st of October, I think.
Okay.
But I wouldn't want to go any later than that, I have to say. I think
was that the first one or the second one?
The second one. The first one was earlier than that. I think it was August.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I wouldn't want to go any later.
You did better with the second one, right? It built
on
itself.
No, I did better with the first one, but there wasn't a lot in it, to be honest. It was close. So I was quite pleased with the way that ended up. Mm-hmm. So if I can get anywhere near that with the Shadow Kingdom, I'll be very pleased.
Yeah. So. Yeah. When talking to you blokes over there in that far across the pond, talking comics is a little bit different because you had Radio Times, you had the Anderson books, you had you had the large format, comics.
Yeah.
That we didn't get over here. You had the hardback annuals.
Yeah, we had all that. Yeah, I mean, 2000 AD was a big square volume. I've got there's one here. You can see the size.
Yeah, it's a lot different.
It's a different size. That kind of size.
Standard
comic book, standard American US comic book size is there.
That's 9 by 12, right?
Something like that. Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah,
those are the two different sizes. So
I mean, basically what we would call a magazine.
Yeah. I mean, if you like Savage Sword of Conan is a similar size. It's slightly thinner. Yeah. Slightly thinner than the book.
And I think those Savage Sword of Conans were about like maybe 148 pages or something like that.
Something.
They were.
They're a fair size.
They are a fair size.
Yeah, I mean,
Hey, Sherlock.
I'm looking at we'd like to do a quarterly.
We all right?
Hiya, Shadow.
Good.
Hey, what's up, Russ? How you doing, brother?
Hiya, Buzz. Back in. We'd like to do
I see George is here too. Hey, George.
Greetings.
We'd like to
Mr.
do a
Martin,
quarterly.
Good to see you, sir. Sorry, I was having audio issues earlier, so but great to see you, man. That Wrightson page, the recreation you did is absolutely stellar, dude.
Thank you.
Oh my god,
it's amazing.
Appreciate that.
We'd like to do a quarterly book, The Atlantean, which is similar to the Chimerian for Conan, but doing it for Cull.
Yeah.
Do like 40 pages a strip and 8 pages.
I mean, Conan is public domain over there in the UK now, isn't it?
Cull is public domain as well. Yeah.
And Cull,
so that's why we're doing it. Yeah. So we're really into that kind of stuff. Me and Randy are really into that kind of stuff. So that's something I'd like to do. Also, I'd like to do a run. I'd like to do something that that I can leave, as it were.
Seeing that Bernie Wrightson-ish, shadow that Gary did, and that was from an ad, wasn't it? I think I've seen that ad, sort of like a half-page ad that they did.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love for you to do like the Spider and Green Hornet and some of those pulp era, creations
cool,
like the Phantom or. I mean, just the pulp era, Doc Savage, so just at one time, nearly every one of those was in a movie serial. Flash Gordon. Oh, I'd love to see you do a Flash Gordon or a Buck Rogers piece. That's just so classic.
Yeah, unfortunately, the market for that is dwindling. People that remember that stuff. There's not as many of us.
I just watched the whole Buster Crabbe movie stuff where he goes to Mars and conquers the universe.
We're going through the original Flash Gordon strip at the moment on Friday mornings.
Yeah. But
well, you know what?
As a little kid, I was hanging out with my neighbor, and his dad was kind of a collector, I guess, but he had they converted the garage into an extra room, so it wasn't actually a garage anymore. Anyway, so we're hanging out in there, and I find this milk crate full of books, and I discovered Doc Salem, the Man of Bronze, or Doc Savage, the Man of Bronze. Never heard of this crap before, dude. I'm like, I talked to my buddy's dad. He's like, yeah, go ahead, take them home and read them, man. I was hooked immediately. I was like, this is so cool. I don't know what this is, but it's just awesome. I think I was just a little kid, dude. I was like 8 or 9.
Adventure
Well, Doc
comics.
Salem was sold as Superman before Superman. He was one
You
of his
just made the
monikers
same mistake
was
I did, but yeah,
Superman.
I know what you mean.
He certainly had the physique of a Superman.
That's how I got into comics. Is I was in some used bookstore and I saw some Conan paperback covers.
With Frazetta, maybe?
Conan paperbacks, and I had no idea who Conan was.
Mm-hmm.
The artwork, the Frazetta paintings,
right,
blew me away. And so I started buying the paperbacks and reading them, and then started following, looking up Frazetta's art. Found out he was a comic book artist, and started going to comic book shops, and that's when I discovered,
Okay, Gary, you might know. Did Frank actually write the like Death Dealer novels and stuff? Because I remember discovering those when I was I think like a sophomore in high school. They actually had them in my
I don't
library.
I don't think he wrote those. He created
I know he created the character. And then later on, I know they did the comic.
Do that much writing.
Right.
Well,
right.
I was struck after watching
It must have been a ghostwriter or something. I think they just used his name to, pump the book.
I shared this with Shadowhawk the last couple of days that I think that the original Aquaman, Golden Age Aquaman, is really kind of taken from Buster Crabbe's Flash Gordon, because he was an Olympic swimmer. A lot of the costume was the same, skin tight, and then especially in that one serial, he's got the gloves that are kind of flared, and he's got the blonde hair, and I'm like, wow, yeah, that looks like Aquaman to me.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. And then there's their whole swimming, that he was an Olympic swimmer, like Weissmuller was.
Yeah, I know. I mean, that's smart to hire an athlete to play a heroic character,
action figure, action.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that you see all these TV adaptions of comic book characters, and they're just actors. In
well, nowadays they just
they look like cosplayers. They don't look like superheroes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you had used to have real body types, Gary. You used to have like the Steve McQueens that had a real body, and it now it's like everybody goes out and works at the gym. I don't know about you, but
dude, I like Marvel, the Marvel universe and stuff, DC, EU, all that. They have a program. Like when you sign a contract, you have to get in shape. You're going to be doing steroids. You're going to be working out. You're going to be on a certain diet.
Yeah. Well,
you're going to look like a superhero.
Yeah. Some of them need it more than others.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, some of them are, already almost there anyway. But
what were you going to say, Edwin?
No, I was just agreeing with everybody.
Okay.
Good man. Tell about Edwin.
Yeah, that's what I'm here for. I'm just gonna.
What have you been up to, Edwin? I thank you for liking the our shows every day over there on Twitter. I always give you a call out when I see that.
Yeah, man. I would love supporting everybody who's in this comic space and promotes and gives people platforms and stuff. So anything I can do to share out, it's my pleasure. But yeah, man, I've just been working my regular 9 to 5.
Congratulations on Bloodbone getting funded. Your ash can over there.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I got it funded yesterday. Thanks to all the
$1,000.
All the hardline peeps helping getting it over the line. Got like another 40 something left. So it's gonna be fun.
Diaz bros hard at work again, man.
Yeah, man. That's what we do with the hardline, man. Just pumping out books and projects, man.
I love it.
Sure,
working.
Everybody saying
employed.
That's how it is.
Speaking of work, I need to get back to my drawing table.
Thank you, Gary.
I got to put in a shift tonight.
Oh.
Thank you, Gary. I would suggest going to the restroom, getting a snack, and then maybe hitting it hard.
Yep, back to work.
Yeah. appreciate you coming on. I really do. It's been a pleasure.
But thanks for letting me hang out with you guys. It's always fun.
Okay. When you really want to when you have a day that you really want to deep dive into comics and talk some comics, let me know.
Okay. I mean, you could tell I love talking about comics and comic art.
You bet.
All right. See you guys.
Have a great night.
Have a great night. What have you been up to, George?
Just packaging and doing a lot of work for Critical Blast.
Okay. With RJ. Now you're not there in Eureka Springs with him, are you?
Oh no. I'm in Canada. He's in the United States.
Oh, you're in Canada. Yeah. He's over here about 4 hours away from me.
RJ is doing things smart, dude. That's why he's affordable.
Okay, so you're sort of his distribution hub for Canada.
No. Yeah, RJ Critical Blast. It does what do you call it? Fulfillment for campaigns, but he's also a publisher. And
he's actually publishing here. Oh,
yeah,
cool.
Yeah. I think we did like 6 books so far together.
Oh, damn. I didn't even realize.
In the last year.
I thought he was just distributing. I didn't realize he was actually publishing too.
We did Monsters Next Door. It's an anthology. I did all the artwork for that.
Oh, no shit. Oh, that's awesome. Wow, that's great.
Windblock had a question. I'm not sure. Let's see. Who did Johnny Quest?
Oh, the cartoon art?
Yeah.
Was that Tough?
Yeah, Tough.
I think Tough had
Tough?
something.
Yeah, probably. It looks like his style, you know.
Yeah, well, I think as far as action adventure cartoons, I know the animation's kind of dated by now, but I mean, for
Johnny Quest was awesome, dude. That just the theme song at the beginning with all the bongos and the jungle jump.
Yeah. And people died. People were. I mean, the Lizard Man.
People are getting thrown off a cliff.
They get shot and thrown off a cliff. And Johnny Quest is smack talking them as they fall to their death. If you get the uncensored version, Russ, I bought the official release of Johnny Quest on DVD from Hanna-Barbera.
Right.
But I didn't realize it was censored. Then they reissued it on Blu-ray and they said the uncensored version. And they took out like the smack talk and other things that they thought would be offensive. I thought, my God, you're messing with my Johnny Quest.
That's terrible.
The world has gone completely nuts.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there's not a lot you can do about it.
Yeah, it's definitely. I think it's opened up an opportunity for indie comics, though.
Oh, without doubt. Yeah, that's why I'm looking at doing the quarterly book, because I think there's an opportunity for getting out there and doing something regular for people to latch on.
Well, I mean, look at Glenn Fleming's book. He tries to do like a bi-weekly, bi-monthly, but comes out more quarterly. But that's an awesome task. I mean, my gosh, I gotta hand it to you guys. Anybody trying to do a quarterly?
Well, I'm gonna try and do 40 pages a quarter, pencil and ink.
That's massive.
So should be able to do it.
Well, I mean, I always enjoyed like the Justice League quarterlies that came out in the 80s. I don't know if you ever saw those. They were thick things. Maybe
I know of them. We didn't get them over here.
Okay, that's
what were they, like 64 pagers or something, right? Back in the day, they were like,
or it might have even been
64 pages were the king size.
Might have even got an 80 page out of those quarterlies. I don't know.
Might have been, they were big though. Yeah.
I think if you can knock out an original story, even black and white, we're aiming for black and white with a painted cover like the old Conan magazines. Every quarter for maybe $15 with 40 pages of black and white story. I think that's probably reasonable. And it's just, I think Sword and Sorcery is on its way back up now as well. So that's kind of what we're aiming
Well,
for.
that's what I was going to say about Frazetta. Frazetta seems to have created his own genre in a way, because I think D&D and other fantasy role playing and other things like that came from those Frazetta paintings.
Well, also Robert E. Howard, like the book that we're doing,
Yeah.
The Shadow Kingdom, is technically counted as the first
Or Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings also.
American Sword and Sorcery. It's the first
Yeah.
American Sword and Sorcery novel, or story. That's what it's considered as. So Robert E. Howard has an incredible legacy. So that's why we went for it, because it's public domain. And what we want to do is carry on our own stories of Cull after that. So,
I didn't really I had more exposure to Conan than I did Cole.
Yeah.
Really.
Well, we can't do Conan because they're already doing it. Titan
John
doing
Bolton's
Chimerian,
another artist.
Chimerian
He's a Cole artist. He did a little bit of Cole. John Bolton did.
Yeah. John Buscema was the biggest influence, I think, as far as
definitely.
Conan was concerned.
I mean, if you're talking seminal work, like if you're saying The Flash, Carmen Infantino, if you say like maybe The Atom, okay, that's going to be Gil Kane. I mean, Hawkman, I would say, or Tarzan. There's so many, would be Joe Kubert,
Al Foster.
I mean, you're identified with
Spider-Man would be Remita.
Or like who was I just thinking? Kurt Swan being Superman. Because he did it for over 30 years.
Yeah.
I don't think you're ever going to see that in comics anymore.
I would love to do that. That's all I want to do. I just want to sit here and draw.
Probably one of the last was a writing gig, and that was Chris Claremont, who wrote X-Men for over 20 years.
Yeah.
Now there's some consistency there.
Yeah. Well, with the idea for this Cull ongoing, the Shadow Kingdom is the setup for Cull in Valusia, where he first encounters the lizard people that are this sort of Shadow Kingdom. And what we'd like to do is kind of like where he goes undercover with his sidekick Brawl, and goes off to find the other.
Now, what age are we? I've even seen them do a young Conan as a kid. Yeah. What kind of age is Cull at this?
Cull is around 30. He's done a lot. He's seen a lot.
He's king yet? Is he king?
He's a king of Valusia. Yeah, he's king. Yeah, so he goes. So the idea in the ongoing in the quarterly is that he goes off with Brawl to find the rest of the lizard kingdom, and on the way, hijinks occur, and there's lizards and witches and dragons, and that's the idea. So
what we'd really spiders, maybe.
Yeah, what we'd really like to do is naked women, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, naked women. Yeah,
what we'd really like
have the naked women
is create that ongoing and stick to it. That's what I'd really like to do. That's
would Cole ever go into a bar? Conan was always in a bar.
Yeah. That whole concept of just the Hyborian age, because Cull is effectively an ancestor, isn't he? He's pre-Conan by several generations.
Oh, he is.
Apparently, they are.
Yeah, they're ancestors.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's that aspect to it. Cull is a bit more of a thinking person. He's not quite as reactionary as Conan.
Yeah.
But obviously, we're gonna put some action in and have some fun with it and make him a bit more Conan-esque. We can't do Conan because Titan are doing it. Other people are doing it. But we can do Cull, and we can give it our flavor and do our thing. And the first book, which is not the ongoing,
it's Conan, but you're basically saying he's overexposed a little right now.
Yeah, maybe not. I don't know. Can you ever get too much Conan? I don't know. I don't think so.
Right. Yeah.
So we'll do that first thing. The Shadow Kingdom is our first thing, and it's going to be a standard book. It's going to be a graphic novel, but then we'd like to move on to an ongoing quarterly. So that'll be later next year.
How many pages are you planning on doing?
The quarterly?
Yeah.
The quarterly will be 48 pages or thereabouts. So 40 pages of
size,
40 pages of strip and 8 pages of editorial.
Mm.
And what are you going? Soft cover, hardcover?
I'm looking at soft cover, but Randy's talking about maybe having a square bound cover. So we've still got to sort that out. We've still got to wrangle that out as to what we want to do. I want to make it as affordable as possible.
Yeah.
Also, it comes down to
there's I'm kind of torn. I mean, earlier we saw these hardback editions and other books, that looks, and that has its place, but at the same time, it's just that comic off a rack, that cheap. I mean, the old, going back to the pulps. So many people, in the millions, even up until the early 60s, Dale with their Walt Disney books were selling in the millions.
That's right.
Over $1 million.
Yeah. I mean, I don't expect to sell huge numbers like that, but if we could get up to, I think if we could get up to 500 to 750, we'd be looking at a reasonable income, but 1,000 would be fantastic. And so just to have that continuing, and of course what you can do is you can bind them all together at a later date for a trade paperback or a special edition, large hardback version. So there's so many things that you can do with it. But what I'd really like to do is just leave my mark. I'd really like to leave a run of quality stuff.
Mm-hmm.
May I suggest? You have your book, of course, the way you describe it. Is it black and white or full color?
It'll be black and white.
Black and white.
Yeah.
And are you going to have the pencils and inks separate? Meaning the pencils are on a piece of paper and the inks are done separately from the pencils. They're going to be married together on the same sheet.
No, they're all on the same sheet.
Okay. Well, the scenario that I'm thinking, because I've been packaging a lot of different books for Critical Blast Publishing, is that you can pivot and do a paperback at 5x8 and also a pocketbook at 4.3 by 7.
Right.
And what you do is you put in a lot more meat into the book, meaning that while you have the book in black and white, your main story and all that stuff, you also present the story without the words at all. So that would be like a second section in the book,
right?
Where people can appreciate the artwork that's actually hidden by the balloons, by the captions and all that stuff. And me personally, as an artist and as a comic book lover, that kind of stuff is just too freaking awesome.
Cool. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, I like that. I mean, I'm actually, because what I've done is you can see. There's a page.
Hey.
Yeah. Yep.
So there's a page like that, but I'm actually thinking of putting grey tones on them.
Yeah.
So it might be nice.
Send that to me, Russ. Send that to me.
I will. Okay. So it might be to have the grey tone and the lettering, and have that as your presentation, and then show the black and white line on its own.
I love this, man.
Also, in the Shadow Kingdom, we'll be putting the complete prose of the original story in there as well.
Okay.
We do have a guest, a special guest, doing a forward that I can't announce yet, but that will be big. So yeah, I mean, I really like that idea. Actually, that's really
okay. Cool. And just so everybody understands here, the stuff that I do when I'm packaging, I'm not selling myself. I'm selling you the concept.
Yeah.
Okay. Just so I understand the concept. It's very important. Is that you produce your book at 7x10, 8.5 by 11. Whatever size you all of you end up picking, right? But there's a whole different market out there if you actually reshape your book to a 5x8,
right,
which is paperback, which is usually manga size, right?
Yeah.
And there's a whole different audience at pocketbook size.
Mm-hmm.
Because I heard you, Rex. You picked up the little pocketbooks of Doctor Strange, and you love that thing, you know. I remember,
and the little digest, like
the little
these
digest. Yeah.
100 pages. You know,
well,
I mean,
check this out right here. This is one of the books I packaged, The Immortal Mask. This is pocketbook.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
This is a 200-page pocketbook.
Oh wow, 200 pages.
Right. Well, the thing is,
And in full color.
Full color, the whole thing.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Let me try that again. Flip it this way. Okay, there you go. Okay, there.
Okay.
200-page pocketbook. It's all here. There's the pre-story, 1930s. There's the main story, 1970s, and there's the what we call post-story, and then there's the making of. 200 pages. You know what's amazing about this? This is not a new concept.
Right.
The pocketbook that you have of Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, all that stuff, they are 200 pages.
Yeah.
Right. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Here's the first 10 issues of Swamp Thing, and
Bingo.
very legible. You know,
that's a 5x8, I believe.
Yeah, it's wonderful little. You know, I like a smaller book.
And you know what's amazing about that?
Actually.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what's amazing about that is that, gentlemen, you have one price point for the paperback right here, one price point for the pocketbook, another price point for the standard comic, the standard size. So what you're doing is you're addressing your customer's needs. Your customer says, you know what? I like the pocketbook. I like the price point on the pocketbook. I like the price point. Oh yes. Yes.
Remember these things?
Well, okay. I give me a sec. let me one up you on that one right there. Okay.
And while you're doing that, George, I want to show this. Did you ever see these, Russ? Great indexes.
No.
The best. Started out with Spider-Man, Avengers, X-Men. Ran from like 1976. It gives you a rundown on all the issues.
Wow.
That's
in
awesome.
black and white.
That's cool.
Yeah, they're the best. They're the best out there. You know, for giving you who did the cover artwork, if it's known, and they have like forewords. You know, I think this might be Pablo Marcos. I'm not sure, but you know, great content pages, and then in the front they.
Fantastic.
Sorry about my camera if it doesn't come across good, but you know, they give you some history, like Journey in the Mystery. They'll give you some of the early Journey in the Mystery highlights.
Yeah.
And what the title was. I had these things are invaluable, you know, for that
good stuff,
Marvel stuff.
That's
if you
nice.
haven't seen those.
All right, gentlemen, what you just showed me, the large oversized editions or treasuries. I love them so much because I made my own joking book 1 and 2.
Oh, there you go.
This is 15 by 10. 10 this way, 15.
Wow.
100 and
is that Action Comics #1 homage cover?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Great.
Wait. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's 120 pages. It's thick, and get this, guys. On the back of the book, let's see. Oh, this is not the sample. Yeah, there's on the back of the book. I have an artboard inside the book.
Wow.
On the front of the book, I have an art sheet. Okay. So I'm currently fulfilling these 2 books. This is Joking Book 1, and Joking Book 2. They're both oversized, 120 pages, and each book has art on the back and art on the front, and they're 120 page, 10 by 15.
Brilliant.
You know why? Because I just loved that stuff back then.
Can I ask you why you put the artboard or the art sheet and then did it that way, sandwich it?
It's 100% unique.
Okay.
These got printed to order, and that's it. They will never get reprinted. So every book is 100% unique because it has 2 original pieces of art. I draw in 2 pieces of art on the back and the front.
Oh, you draw. Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't know that. I thought you might
were putting in blank. Draw, write, all that stuff. Yeah.
Okay. So each one's unique.
Yeah, it's 100% unique. So
okay,
and they're all numbered. So these books will never get printed. But what I will end up doing is I will take the 2 books and make them into a hardcover. Right here.
There you go.
And it's like you just combine them, hardcover, 7 by 10, and then boom, that's repurposing your product.
When will we be getting the Russ Leach omnibus?
Yeah. Only Death Can Save Us 3 will be out next year. And I'd really like to do a black and white version of it, and do an essential Only Death Can Save Us.
Yeah,
I'd love to do that. Once that's done, then it comes down to how much cull I can get done.
Yeah,
and then there'll be a trade paperback of that.
Do you have the Marvel Essential books and
I've got quite a few of them. Yeah,
reprints?
I've got quite a few. Yeah. So I'd love to do. But basically, I'll put the word essential on there. I will totally bastardize that and put that on there and have an essential Only Death Can Save Us, and that should be about 250 pages. So that'll be a worthwhile thing to do at some point. Yeah.
This is just a copy from the giant acetate I have. Actually, the acetate is probably larger than this. Used in the printing process, Russ, but I thought this was unique because JFK was already assassinated, and this is dated my year of birth, 65.
Good Lord, that's fantastic.
Just local artists doing, from probably Brazil, in Portuguese here.
That's cool.
Almanac, partial photo cover here. I thought that was kind of unique. But usually there is a delay of like 2 years of stories. DC probably did a Superman JFK story. It just didn't come out till 1965 down there.
Yeah.
Is my guess.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
right,
I love that.
I'm going to have to go now because it's 1 o'clock in the morning here.
Way late for you. Yes, I appreciate that. I was just waiting to see if you turned into a pumpkin.
Yeah, that's already happened. Can you tell?
It was nice to meet you.
Oh, yeah, it was nice to meet you as well, Fanta. Yes, lovely.
Yeah, Russ, we're going to have to get together again real soon, maybe after Christmas. I don't know, whenever's a good time for you.
Like I say, I'm now on the journey to the next book. So, yeah, it would be lovely to come see you, whatever. So,
Well, we got to do a little, little trading. We got to get, and I got to get you some. But basically, I'm thinking, we need to get together and just talk about that cover, which is not going to be done not going to be published till issue 6. But issue 6 is the climax of the story. So and I want that gravitas. So I don't want to squander a Russ Leach talent. I want maximum effect on that opus climax.
Okay. All right. We'll get to it. We will definitely get to it. There's I've got an alternate cover up. You can just have a quick look.
Hey, Jonas.
On the share screen.
Okay.
That's
there it is.
There you go. So that's a sort of like an idea about where I'm going with it.
this?
It's classic Cull. There we go. There's the sentence. There's the first spread coming.
Now I didn't ask you. Is this going to be black and white, or is it going to be in color?
It's going to be black and white, and
okay.
There's going to be. I'm going to have a shade on it. I'm going to put some brush work on it, so it's going to have some tone work on it as well. So it won't look exactly like that. It'll have some tonal work to it as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be coming out in the new year. And anybody that's interested, if you can go to my website, rustleach.com, and you can sign up for the email list there, and I'll let you know when everything's ready.
Levi says awesome.
Thank you, Levi.
Yeah, an 8.5 by 11 hardcover on just that alone. Holy smokes, that'd be freaking awesome.
That's where we'd like to go at some point, is to have a hardcover on it. Yeah, but
you know RJ Critical Blast, correct?
I'm going to be speaking to RJ at some point, because we need to have some kind of system to get the book out to people in the States. Yeah,
yeah.
Well, Randy and I will definitely be speaking to RJ. Yeah.
Okay, because he can help you package it up and get it fulfilled without the cost of carrying inventory.
That would be great. Yeah,
yeah.
That's exactly where we need to be. Yeah.
He kind of tailor makes it, to what level you need. He said, he's even had people send him stuff fully boxed, everything. It's like all he had to do was like tape it up and mail it off, and it's like, what do you need me for?
Well, Randy's the writer on it, so he may well get it printed and then send it over in bulk to RJ once we discuss it with RJ, and see the way that works. But yeah, definitely I'll be in touch. So. But thank you so much for letting me on. Congratulations on 600.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for having me here.
Yeah. Hope you had a blast.
Have a good night.
I know I did.
Yeah. Nice to see you all.
You as well.
See you later. Das Vidania. Bye-bye.
Ta-ta. What do you tell somebody from the UK? Ta-ta. We have a question by Winblock. Peter, do you publish your own books? George.
Oh, yeah, absolutely do.
Mm-hmm. You have a book binding system? You have a book binding system?
No. I've been publishing for 32 years now. So no, I send the book to the printer and get it shipped to the customer. But recently, in the last 3 years, I've been using Ingram Spark to do all the printing. Once the book gets into their hands, the printing, everything, hardcover, softcover, you name it, the works. And then just click a button, and then it becomes available on Amazon, on Walmart, Barnes and Noble, everywhere.
Well, George, awesome. we're gonna get out of here because I know I have topic lists later, and we've been going about 3 hours. Where can people find you?
GeorgePeterGatzis.com.
Okay. You have a YouTube. I know you have a YouTube channel.
Yeah, I have a YouTube. I am being forcefully shadow banned by YouTube, diminished by YouTube.
Oh, I am too.
No. They're playing games with you. With me, they're actually doing it right in front of people, and you can actually see it for yourself. Yeah. Example: if you watch my nightly news show at 10 p.m. You'll see when we have like people watching, it'll say, there's like 10, 20, how many people are watching, and there's likes and all that stuff. The moment the show's over and you hit refresh,
right,
YouTube will say 0 views.
I know.
Yep.
That's been happening to me. Yeah.
Yeah. And but they don't do it to my movie nights.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about your movie nights. Yeah, if they were messing with any of that.
No, they don't mess with the movie nights. Movie nights is great. 9 p.m. Fridays and Saturdays, we do the movie nights. Mm-hmm. It's not like you're watching heads. You're actually watching the movie and us roasting it. And once the movie's finished, the view count and all that stuff, it's all fine. It's just the news show. They just hammer it.
I know someone said, now I may have put some, I can't remember, in the description, but if you don't put any links in your description, that might help. I don't know. You might try that.
Well, they said we have officially, no, not officially. We have what's it called, removed all your privileges on your YouTube channel.
Good to see you.
Yep. And going like, okay. And I didn't really think.
Oh, sorry, buddy. I was talking with my daughter earlier. And I forgot.
Didn't think.
Forgot you let me in for a minute. I've been sitting out here in the chat for.
And I was watching Crowder. Was it this week? And he shows off an email that it was exactly the email I got. So it's like, it's not like they're coming after me. They're coming after everybody who's actually doing who are educating the public.
I know. I try and dumb down the public, and they're still messing with me. How about you, Fanta?
Hi, Fanta.
Where can people find you?
You're back, darling.
Oh, you can find me. You can find me Twixer, Instagram, and YouTube at Phantasmagorical. It's spelled out there.
Okay.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday afternoon with Hen on Just Call Me Hen. Tuesdays with Feline for the happy hour hangout, Flying Feline. Wednesday nights after the first year, we'll be back. It'll be Dojo Coons Incendiary, where we debate and show campaigns.
Okay.
Thursdays, I'm on the Good Stuff and Justin Belmont's channel in the Man Cave.
Right?
And
yeah. Girl, you're
and
everywhere, man.
The first Friday night of every month, it's Uncorked with Mrs. Good Stuff, Flying Feline, Amanda B, and myself.
Mm-hmm.
We have a really good time. It's just a couple hour long show usually, and it's pretty awesome. But I wanted to did you guys talk about
all the time?
Go back and rewatch Shadowpunk. We had a good one.
Did you guys talk about the mythicals at all?
Tonight?
Yeah. I know
Hojo was in the chat, but we didn't. I don't think we really got a chance to talk about it because we were talking with Gary and Mike, and
Yeah.
it's kind of.
I just wanted to shout it out. It's on from my comic right now, Mythicals 2.
Go get you one, people.
And Mike Barron asked me about you, Fanta. I gave him your Twitter, but now I didn't have time to, like, while I was moderating, to give him your YouTube. So you might look up Mike Barron and send him your YouTube.
I did. I saw. Okay. Yes, thank you. But yeah, I just wanted to shout out the Mythicals.
That could be either really scary or really cool. Mike Barron is looking for you, dear.
Mike Barron's amazing. I love Mr. Barron.
How about you, Edwin? You there?
Yeah, you can always find me on Twitter. I'm at Edwin Aces. You can find me on the Hardline Mondays 10 p.m. on State Comics channel. And yeah, go out back, Bloodbones.
Yeah, congratulations again on getting that funded.
Yeah, man,
yes.
A lot of
I just wanted to say to Edwin that, you know what would be super awesome? A Bloodbone logo beanie.
Yeah. Yes, we got to get the Bloodbone merch going for the #1.
Yeah.
We're cutting down ideas for next year. So, yeah, definitely. Merch is coming.
Well, Shadowhawk, here's the 600 more. Long live the king.
Cheers.
Cheers. Yes, I want to thank all my guests and all my chat. Sorry, chat, if I didn't, I know this is coming too late because, we don't have the viewership that we did 3 hours ago. But anyway, I appreciate everyone that I ignored in the chat. And, some of the panelists too. We didn't get Edwin, we're going to have you on again. Talk a little bit more sometime.
Yeah, man. It's always
didn't have much time today.
There's a place to hang out,
Yeah. I'm glad you can make it.
Yeah.
I do. And thank I thank Mike Barron and Gary Martin and Russ Leach and just so many great guests that were here earlier. If you didn't if you didn't catch it, if you didn't hit that like, if you hadn't subscribed, we're here every day. It's amazing. These creators go, like I sent out to like Keith and Amy that do Mighty Mascots. They're like, yeah, when do you stream? I'm like, every day. Every day. In fact,
sometimes
I'm accused
2 or 3 times.
In fact, I'm accused of I always streaming, and I will be over on Topic List tonight. Maybe I'll actually get some work done like Gary went to do, or Russ. Russ is smart. See, he was on panel actually working while we were doing whatever we were doing. But sorry, tried to get Aaron Lampress. He had, like I said, tried to get what's the Batman artist, Kelly Jones. Of course, we never had him on before, but we never had Aaron Lopresti on. I even sent out a couple links to Ethan. So, not everybody made it, but maybe they'll make it by the time we reach 1,000, which is closer than what you think. Just the positive attitude, right? And maybe we'll get some. I love meeting new people, because like George, don't see a lot. Edwin, don't see a lot, but it's always great to see you guys. And Fanta,
Well, I
see you
exist.
anymore,
All you have to do is just close your eyes and clip your heels.
Yeah, there's no place like George.
Yeah, exactly.
And on that, I guess we're going to get out of here. Check me out on Topic Lists and all these other fine folks that, they're on their YouTube. Give them some support, especially it sounds like George needs it.
No. Don't come to my channel. It's a fight. It's a fight. It's not worth the time. It's not worth the time.
Oh.
Yeah.
No,
well,
we back up all our shows to BitChute and Rumble, and come by. It's Fridays and Saturdays 9 p.m. Watch us roast a movie. If you really want to find out what's really going on in the world and why a lot of things we call out the BS on it and all that stuff, check us out at 10 p.m. roasting the news. But it's not a happy place. I mean, we try to make fun of the news, but gosh darn it, there's just a lot of stuff that's really, really sad out there.
Yeah,
it really is.
Pop some popcorn, watch Tubi, you'll be all right.
Happy 600th, Rex.
Yeah,
congratulations.
Absolutely.
Keep them coming.
Thanks for everybody making this a great one. We'll be here again tomorrow. Bow for now, and Carrie, keep collecting. Thought I forgot. And thank you, Texas Dave, for coming on and sharing as always. Awesome books. Take care.